Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. It has been a while since I have been on. I know some of you have missed me. I was ill for several days. I'm not completely over it. I got a little bit of cough left over, but I am at least back in action now. And I thought, what better way to return than with an AMA? Ask me anything so we can walk down some roads, have some chats back and forth with things that maybe have been bugging you over the past couple of days since I've been gone. You want to say, hey, I'm angry about something, or I want to yell at Larry about something, or I want to say something, whatever. All good. Happy to have that conversation back and forth. But as always, I try to start it with something that I think will get us rocking and rolling. Again, we'll go anywhere you want. But my start today is the lockdowns. And the lockdowns this time, I think, are a little bit different than they have been in the past. I mean, lockdowns happen all the time. It's always, I'm threatening this guy or that guy, and I'm right. That's always the thing, right? But this one I felt a little bit different in that I think that the Trump administration is going to use it in the way that in the past other administrations haven't used. In other words, generally speaking, when there's going to be a lockdown, the president tends to be unhappy about that. That's a tendency. He seems okay with it. He seems like, whatever, shut it down. What are you gonna do? That's kind of how he feels, which is different this time than the past. I think that does make it a little bit different. I, of course, am always like government shutdown. Whatevs. I'm always whatevs. No matter who's president, I'm always whatevs. I can't help it because being a libertarian, but I also understand pain. So I'm always torn on both sides. Always doesn't matter who the president is. But generally speaking, the president is like, we don't want this usually, or is jumping through hoops. I don't see that with Trump. So let me grab a little bit of what, so for those of you who know what's going on. This is a little piece starting from ABC News, which I think is kind of an interesting way of how they put it.
And there's still no end in sight. Lawmakers left Washington for the weekend with negotiations at a standstill, with neither side budging on their demands.
Yes.
This morning, as the government shutdown drags into the weekend, the White House ramping up its threats, warning thousands of federal workers could soon lose their jobs.
But I don't feel like he's actually warning. I feel like he's like, it's going to happen. Oh, well, that's the difference.
Layoffs are an unfortunate consequence of that.
Republicans refusing to negotiate until Democrats reopen the government.
Democrats need to vote for the clean, nonpartisan, continuing resolution sitting right there. And then we can talk about whatever we need to talk about.
Now, some of you might think this is a good idea if you're a Democrat. And I get the concept if you're a Democrat going, hey, look, we want to push back against Trump. I do get that logic. I do. I understand it. My pushback to Democrats are, this probably isn't the right time. There were many times you could have done so. Like there were many times you could have done so and probably should have, right? And I go back to force the vote back when Jimmy Dore was fighting with Cenk Uygur and the Democrats back then about whether they should force the vote on Medicare for all. Those are good times to fight. Republicans have done the same thing. Sometimes you stand your ground and whatever happens, happens. I understand that. The feeling that I'm getting from Democrats right now is if things suffer, I don't care. I got to fight on something. I've chosen this hill, not because it's the right hill to die on, but because I've chosen no hill to die on, and I got to die on one hill, so I'm dying on this one. It feels like the wrong one to me if I was a Democrat. That's what it feels like.
Democrats digging in, refusing to cave until Republicans agree to reverse Medicaid cuts and extend Obamacare subsidies to keep premiums from increasing for millions.
Now, this piece that they're saying, the statement is accurate, meaning that there will be an increase. That's true, right? I get that. They're right. The issue is we shouldn't be here in the first place. And that's the part that bothers me. The one thing that, again, whether you like Trump or not, the one thing that Trump administration has really shown, and most who aren't getting it, and they should be getting it, is that how dependent we are on the federal government. That's the one thing this administration has been great at, regardless of what your other feelings are. They have shown how dependent we are. If the federal government says no, we can't do anything. We're devastated. We're crushed. The world's ending. I thought we were supposed to be some kind of republic, I thought. No. And that's a huge piece.
Failure to act would be devastating. And Republicans know it. Even Donald Trump knows it.
Kristen Furman-Simmons in Maine, who is battling MS, says if the Obamacare subsidies expire...
Yes, there has to be Obamacare subsidies. Look, I'm not mad that people want to help people out, and I feel bad for anyone who's in trouble. I get it. But shouldn't we have, literally decades ago, come up with a plan that local communities and states could support someone like her in whatever way required, whether that's through localized community, whether that is through literally just plans that community banks put together, whatever. I'm making up the concepts, but shouldn't we have already had that? Shouldn't we have fixed this already? And we haven't. And again, it's showing the holes. This is showing the holes in our system. This should be the situation. She shouldn't have to suffer, right? She shouldn't. This should be like, oh, the federal government shuts down. Okay, that's terrible. I guess now we can't go to federal parks. Like, that's what should be the problem. Oh, man, I can't go to Yosemite, which sucks. You should be able to go to Yosemite if you want to. But that should be the problem. It shouldn't be, oh, my God, I can't get treated for MS, right? That should not be an issue. Sadly, it is. They might go, wait a minute, Larry. Do any Democrats think the way you do? Yeah. I'm going to show you one more, which you may find interesting. This is a piece from Michael Smerconish. Of course, he's CNN. I'll give you a little chunk of him. He leans left, I will say, but it's, as I say always, he's the fairest person you will find on CNN. And I mean that with no hyperbole whatsoever. There is no one fairer. It is CNN, but there's no one fairer on CNN than Smerconish. No one is fairer on CNN than him. So here, see what he says.
Hand me the phone book. I'm Michael Smerconish in the Philly Burbs. The late, great William F. Buckley once said, I would rather be governed by the first 2,000 people in the Manhattan phone book than the entire faculty of Harvard.
Yep.
I'm feeling the same way about Congress. It's day 4 of this government shutdown. More than 700,000 federal workers are being marginalized by the grandstanding of elected officials seeking to curry favor with their base.
And this is his point. His point is Democrats are just trying to seek favor. They're not trying to fix anything. This point's correct, right? As you'll hear me say often, Democrats are actually very good at pointing out problems. They are. They're better than Republicans when it comes to pointing out problems. They are. And you can be mad at that if you don't like Democrats, whatever. You're still wrong. Democrats are better at saying, here's a problem. True. It's their solutions that suck, or in certain cases are non-existent, right? Depending upon what you're talking about. In this case, there's no solution. The solution is just keep federal government giving money. That's the Democrats' answer. But when they're saying this is a problem, that's accurate. The problems are real. They are real. So yes.
I know how we got here. Back in March, Democrats agreed to temporarily fund the government, but now, where a continuing resolution is needed to keep the government open, they're demanding Republicans make concessions regarding health care.
Yep.
Specifically, they want an extension of enhanced Obamacare subsidies that were part of the COVID stimulus package set to expire this year.
So you had to, because of the dumb lockdowns that they all jumped on board, we had to do extra government cash, and Democrats are like, well, you have to get the cash coming. Okay. Why didn't you have a solution for that extra cash since the lockdowns 5 years ago? Again, no answer. Are the Democrats right? There's a problem. Yes, they're correct. Cannot fight them on the problem. They're correct. Their answer is just keep giving money. You can't just keep giving money. They should have had an answer for this. That's the problem. Raj, thanks so much for the $5, brother. Why no one's on my side screaming? Why no one on my side screaming at Bernie and Jayapal for threatening to shut down the government unless Medicare for all is included in the package? No time better than now. All right. I get your point. I do. I'm with you. But when Medicare for all was on the table, they should have been screaming to have shut the government down, whatever, to have the vote. Because again, if you're a Democrat, again, if you're a Republican or a Libertarian, whatever, and you're not Democrat, probably don't care about this. If you're not left leaning at all, probably don't care about that battle. But if you lean left at all, whether you're a Democrat or leftist, however you may identify yourself, but if you lean left, you have a feeling or a view on Medicare for all, and you probably would have wanted that vote because you would have known which people on your side are for Medicare for all and which ones are not, which ones will go down and die on that hill and which ones won't. And that should have been done, Roger. You are correct. That would have been the right move, and it wasn't. You saying no better time than now, I don't think so, because now they're fighting for establishment, Roger. Obamacare's establishment garbage. I get that people will say, yes, but it does help people now. True, accurate statement. It does help some people now. Yes, but it is establishment garbage. Obamacare is at best, and I'm stretching when I say this, it's at best a Band-Aid. Maybe. I'm going to be good. It's a Band-Aid. Okay? I know some Republicans got mad at me for even saying that, but it's a Band-Aid at best. That's what it is. Okay, I got a Band-Aid. So you're going to fix the wound? It's a serious issue. The Band-Aid's not going to wake it. I think, Roger, this is not the time. I know, I get what you're saying. Look, Democrats stand, fight against Trump. I get that. I think, my opinion, wrong time. And here's what Smirkanish says it later on. I'm going to go a little bit longer. Smirkanish says, and he may be right. And if he's wrong, then Democrats are wrong. If he's wrong, he says, look, let it go. The Republicans are screwing this up so badly, Smirkanish says, so badly that it's all going to fail and everyone's health care is going to be screwed over. And it's going to be so bad that in 2026, the Republicans are going to get their butt kicked and the Democrats are going to win everything. Okay. If he's right, assuming that he is correct, why wouldn't you do that then? If I'm a Democrat and I think, yeah, I hate Trump, I got to get rid of Trump, right? That's the be all end all. Okay. Then let this happen. Everything goes to hell, as they say, right? And that's what Chuck Schumer said. This goes through, the world's going to end. Let the world end. The Republicans get it fully. They're all in charge of everything. See, look what happened. And then vote Democrats 2026, and boom, Democrats control everything, right? That's what should happen. I think you and I both know that may not happen, right? But that's the argument. I think this is establishment garbage because Democrats have no answer. If Democrats, I'm going to show you something in a minute. If Democrats had an answer, they could devastate Republicans on this. But Roger, they don't have an answer. It's not Medicare for all. That's not their answer. And we know that because they didn't want down it. That's it. So yes, Roger goes on to say, I think $5 again. If states pass single payer, like New York, PBs, like public banks, okay, they wouldn't have to worry about healthcare subsidies and federal dollars to pay for it. Agreed. Why do you think I'm okay with this? I'm with you. I'm not fighting you on this, but that isn't their answer either. This is my point, Roger. If they were coming back, if right now Bernie and AOC were marching down the street saying, hey, stop this, let's go with the public bank, or hey, stop this, let's go with single payer, or stop this, let's go with blah, 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 I'm with you. They're not saying that. They're not. They're saying we got to keep the Obamacare subsidies. That's the hill you want to die on. What they're doing, Roger, is not what you're saying. What they're doing is saying we want to die on Obamacare subsidy hill. That's the hill to die on. Brother, that's not the hill to die on. Now, if you lean right or you're conservative or Republican or you lean right, you're probably laughing at all of this. But if you lean left, this is not the hill to die on. Single payer, that's the hill to die on if you lean left. Of course it is. Medicare for all, 100%. Die on that hill. That's the one that the left-leaning people in America want you to die on. They don't want you to die on extending Obamacare. I mean, it's dumb to even say, and that's the other one to die on. It's embarrassing. The Democrats are so broken. They can't even keep their own base happy. Smirkanish is mad, and he's establishment.
And a reversal of Trump cuts to Medicaid and other health programs in a battle over which types of immigrants are eligible. My heart is with the Democrats.
Of course,
I like to joke that the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare, is the worst system of supplying health care to Americans, except for all the alternatives.
He's absolutely wrong on that, but he believes that Obamacare, he does. He honestly believes this. He believes Obamacare is the free market. I know you libertarians just throw up in your mouth. It's not even close, but he does believe it. And that's why even he's upset. And that's my point. That's why I brought him up. He is average. Now, let me go to a far left guy. This guy's far left, and he's talking about AOC. This is the Humanist Report. This guy he's far left. He thinks Democrats don't go far enough. He's like, Democrats are not far enough, got to go further. And he's mad. Like, nobody's happy on this. So why are Democrats doing this? So he's upset too. But listen to what he says.
Americans across this country are going to start getting notifications that their insurance premiums.
I got to tell you, I know some of you don't like AOC. I know. She's my congressperson, so you don't get to complain as much as I do. But the point is, this is smart for her. You guys know I try to give credit where credit is due. This is smart for her. She started off very strong. She was going to be the leftist that was going to make everything right. She was going to get Medicare for all that stuff. And then she's like, oh, wait, I could just sell out. And Nancy Pelosi will hook me up. And then she sold out. And Nancy Pelosi said, ha, stupid little girl. Oh, come on, get back in your hole. And she realized, oh, the system will just chew me up and spit me out. Yes. I know I've been chewed up and spit out also. I completely get that. She figured that out. And now she's like, now what do I do? Well, Bernie also thought, well, I'll just sell out and I'll be okay. He got his third house and then realized, wow, I'm now a laughing stock too. That didn't work. So now Bernie knows I'm too old to do anything. I know I'll hook up with her and then we'll grow and to make something happen. This is the best move she can make. I know you guys don't like her. Some of you do like her. I know a lot of you don't. Doesn't matter whether you like her or not. This is the right move for her. This will get her as far forward as she can possibly get. This is the right move for her. You will see her step up because of it. You will see her popularity gain because of it. If I was advising her, I'd be advising her to do exactly this. It's the right move for her. Roger says, yes, I agree. There we go. We're on the same page, Roger. I'm saying why my base is not pushing Bernie to include it. FTB wouldn't have passed, but Bernie, forced to vote, wouldn't have passed, but Bernie attaching it to a must-pass bill. Yes, thank you. Yes, exactly right. Thank you. Rick goes, AOC is brilliant, sadly. Well, her team is. I don't know if she is or not, but yes, her team is. Becky says she's been a disappointment. True. I agree. I'm with you, Becky. I agree. But this is the right move for her, right? Maybe it's her, Rick. I don't know her very well. Like, I've met her before she actually does now come back to the neighborhood every once in a while. So I don't know her well enough to know if she's that bright. I don't know. I'm not saying she is or isn't. I don't know her well enough, and I can't tell if this is her team or her. I don't know. But either way, it's the right move. Kudos to her or her team, whichever. Either way, she gets credit because she's the one in front of it, so she gets credit for it. So well done.
Are up to doubling. We're talking about.
Say that again.
Your insurance, your monthly insurance premiums are going to double for millions of people across the country.
At a time when we are already paying, by far, the highest prices in the world.
This is the smart move to say.
Healthcare at a time when people can't afford it right now. So what happens?
That means people getting bankrupt over chemotherapy, people going to the pharmacy and not being able to get their insulin. And frankly, it means a lot of Americans are going to be in danger. And Republicans want us to rubber stamp that. So what?
See, this is the way of doing it. This is a smart move. Now, if she actually had a plan behind this, she could rock and roll. The problem is she doesn't even have a policy team. That's not what they do. They have communications team. I say this all the time. If she actually had a policy team that will put together an actual left-leaning policy that would do something, like a guy named Mom Donnie who came up with a policy, which is free buses. And you may laugh at free buses, but that's a policy. Government grocery stores, which I have debunked a long time ago. The free bus had debunked that garbage too. It's all debunked and a bad idea, but it's a plan. And most New Yorkers aren't going to watch my show and believe my debunking. They're going to go, oh, a plan. That sounds great. No one else has one. That's what most New Yorkers are going to do. If she had a plan, bad or not, people go, oh, that's how we fix it. Yes. And maybe, literally what you know what? Rogers should be on our team. Roger will give her a plan. Here's the plan. Localized banks. There we go. There's the plan. People go, oh, localized banks. What will that do? Oh, okay. How about we do co-op hospitals and link cash to hospital infrastructure? Oh, done. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Yes, do that. And people are like, that's great. I love that. That would absolutely work. But she doesn't have that.
What are we going to say to that, Bernie?
Well, I'll tell you, it's not only be in danger. Let's be clear. And I'm not, doesn't make me happy to have to say this, but there have been studies out there that when you combine doubling premiums for the ACA and then throwing 15 million people off of Medicaid and the ACA, the result is, according to studies at Yale and the University of Pennsylvania, 50,000 low-income, working-class Americans
Look at that.
die every single year.
Wow. Now, that, by the way, is a brilliant way of doing things. I do like that. That concept is great. All right. Andrew, thank you for the $20, my friend. Hey, Larry, when you coming to Buffalo? All right. I will be back. I was just in Western New York just recently. I was at Chautauqua County. I was in Wyoming County, Smithfield. I was just in the area there. I'll be up in Rochester, which is Western New York again, but not Erie. I will be in Niagara County 21st November. Genesee, 22nd November. So in your area, late November, and in your area again, late October. I will post those as they pop up here or there, but I will actually be in Erie December 6th. December 6th, I will be in Erie County, probably in the morning. That's a Saturday. So December 6th, I should be in Erie County in the morning. I'll be in Cattaraugus the night before, if you want to stop by there. Orleans that afternoon. So I'll be in your area several times. Late October in your area, not exactly Erie. Late November in your area, Niagara, close, but not exactly. And in Erie County, December 6th. So hopefully that will answer your question. Thank you, Andrew, for the $20. I appreciate it. I am going to be in that area. So I don't know if in Erie, whether I'll be in Hamburg, Buffalo. I'll be in the Buffalo area. That's what I'll say. I might be in Buffalo. It depends. My team will choose, see if they can find a place for me to be there. So generally speaking, when I go to Erie, I'm around Buffalo. Usually I'm in a, unless I do a big event, I'm usually in a suburb. So I'll be around you, Andrew. You can drive a couple minutes. Come see me. Come on now. A little bit. I'll be close. So hope that answers your question. So yeah. Anyway, the last thing to bring up is what this guy says. And here's the issue, which I think is important. Before I go there, JJ over on Rumble, thank you for the $5 Rumble rant. Do you think New York City needs to get federal funding suspended because the impeding communists coming to power? Communism equals anti-American treason activity. Only way out is through. I think he will try to do that. Trump will. I don't know if he can. To be forward, the problem is New York is voting for it. And if New York is voting for it, New York is voting for it. I don't want them to, but New York is voting for it. It is legal to be a communist. It is, right? You cannot like it. We're not supposed to vote for them, but it's legal to be a communist. You can be a communist. It's legal. It's freedom of speech from association. You can be a communist. You're not supposed to win elections as one, though, but you can be one. So it's not illegal to be a communist. I know people want it to be, but it isn't. Freedom of speech says you can be one. So anyway, let me finish this up if I could. This part's important here.
You just heard Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez explain just how fucked we would all be if the Affordable Care Act's premium tax subsidies were to expire.
And he's not wrong. Again, Democrats are very good at explaining the problem. They're great at that, right? They are great at that. The problem is they do not have an answer. They just go, Trump's going to kill us all, right? Now, I'm not saying Trump's going to kill us all, but I am saying the problems are real. People are going to suffer. That's true. My problem is, why haven't we fixed this already? Ugh. I've been explaining ways to fix this literally since 2018. For 7 years, I've been explaining ways for this not to be an issue. So that when the government shuts down, we go, that's terrible. I guess I won't be able to, it'll be slow getting my passport renewed. Like that's the worst thing that will happen. I don't want it to be happen, but that's the worst problem is my passport might be slow or maybe we can't bomb as many people, right? Like that's what I would like to be the issue that we have when it shuts down. We could fix this locally so it won't matter. This keeps showing us our broken system. And what drives me personally nuts is that there's no answer for it. We keep showing how the federal government and our reliance upon it is literally hamstringing us in everything we do. So more centralized controlling is destroying us, and we don't do anything about it except go, we got to keep it more.
Not their words per se, but I don't think that they would necessarily disagree with my characterization of the situation.
Now, the reason why I want to do about 2 minutes and not even a couple minutes of him is he's going to say stuff that matters. What I mean by that, I'm going to show you how the left and the right changed those words to make each other evil. He's going to be the perfect example of this.
Given how bleak it is, because between that and the Medicaid cuts, more than 50,000 Americans could die every single year, as Bernie Sanders pointed out. And that's not just a number, by the way. That could be your brother or your sister or a parent.
Note what you see, which they're very good at. The Republicans don't do this as well. They don't. The Republicans had they did it only well one time, sadly, which is the death of Charlie Kirk. But when it gets out of something like that, right? The Republicans are not good at this. Democrats are always showing an individual or talking about individuals who are hurting. Their rhetoric is just so much better than Republican rhetoric. Republicans, if you're listening and you want to be better, learn from these guys. The Democrats are good at rhetoric. They talk about how you got to care about people are going to die. They do that. Republicans go, the budget. It's a pull on my heartstrings, man. It's being forward with you.
Parent or coworker or one of your friends or you. So Democrats are trying to use the shutdown to get Republicans to agree to reverse some of the cuts to healthcare made in the big bullshit bill. Now, I, for one, think that Democrats should be asking for far more. Nonetheless, Republicans are...
Yeah, he wants to go further. He's like, I'm all the way. This guy wants to go all the way. If you lean very left, you probably would agree with this guy.
Collectively lying about what Democrats are actually asking.
Now, he now calls Republicans liars. Let me explain why he would say that.
For. They're claiming that Democrats are demanding free healthcare specifically for undocumented immigrants, and that's why.
Okay, he says that he's claiming that Democrats are demanding healthcare for undocumented immigrants. All right, here is the nuance here for those of you who know the nuance. He's right and wrong. Republicans are right and wrong. Let me explain why. Do Democrats want free health care for undocumented immigrants? Yes, that's a fact. You can be mad at and say, they didn't say that. You're right. Here's the nuance. Democrats are not demanding that in this case. That is accurate. I want to be clear on that. In this specific case, for this shutdown, Democrats are not demanding that. That's an accurate statement. But do Democrats want that? Yes. And that's the nuance. Republicans go, the Democrats want this. They do, but not for this specific thing. That's why Democrats are saying Republicans are lying. We don't want that for this specific thing. That's the nuance. For those of you who are concerned about that, that's the nuance, right? Mike goes, yes, they want it. Yes, Mike, but not for this specific thing. That's the nuance he just said. It's the nuance that matters. The nuance. That's all.
Why they won't agree to this continuing resolution to keep the government open. It's all about immigrants. But that is a huge lie.
Okay, that's not this. He's saying that, but it's not.
That is not what Democrats are asking for. They're not that cool. Democrats.
All right, this is where he gives it all away. Fahim, you are the man. I appreciate you helping me out, Fahim. $49. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend, for the support. I need a minute. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Let me let him. He's gonna explain exactly what you're saying, Mike. Watch.
Don't even support free healthcare for Americans, let alone undocumented immigrants. They're simply trying to stop healthcare costs from skyrocketing with them.
So he says Democrats don't even support healthcare for everybody. He said they don't go far enough. So he's like, they don't go far enough.
In the next couple of months. And I'll tell you how much that cost is going to go up in a couple of moments. But first, I have to address this idea that immigrants shouldn't have healthcare. I think it's so disgusting that Republicans are trying to dupe Americans into supporting a rise in the cost of their own healthcare simply to prevent undesirables from getting it. That drives me.
Okay, now hear what he says. And it's important if you want to move people. If you just want to yell at Democrats, it doesn't matter what he says. But if you want to actually have a real discussion with Democrats, or real discussion with the left, not just Democrats, people who are on the left, a real discussion, you have to understand why he's saying what he's saying. He says Republicans are disgusting because, again, his words, not mine, because they are okay raising the price of healthcare for everybody else so they can take healthcare away from undesirables. That is his words. That's not accurate, but doesn't matter. In his head, it really is. He's not, how do I say this? He doesn't know he's not lying. He's wrong. And I want to be clear. He's not lying. He's wrong. Let me explain why as we keep going.
Insane. That is demented, immoral, ghoulish behavior because
insult. Remember, Democrats will always dismiss. He's just dismissing you, right? You're a bad person. He will actually say that in a
immigrants should be getting free health care. In fact,
he says it. And his words, he just said it. Undocumented immigrants should be getting free health care. He believes in that 100%. He believes in that.
We all should be getting free health care. This is why I supported Medicare.
So my point, Mike, you are correct. Democrats do want that. The left does want that. The nuance, though, is not for this specific bill. They want to just fix it here now, just the little things for the ACA. And then next year, they're going to say, give free health care to the undocumented immigrants. You're right in the future. This one, no. And that's what Republicans are saying that as a scare. This is where Republicans are wrong. They're saying Democrats are saying that for this bill. That's why the Democrats won't say yes, because that is not true. That's not accurate. That's Democratic. That's Republican scare tactic. It's not true. Democrats are saying we want this. Democrats want the bullshit. Actual leftists and Democrats want the Democratic establishment, Mike, want them to say, give the free health care to the undocumented. They want that. But Schumer and them is going, no. Just do the Obamacare stuff, and we'll deal with it. That's why it's not true.
Medicare for all. But if you don't think that undocumented immigrants should have health care, one, you're a bad person.
His words. I didn't say that. His words. If you don't think undocumented immigrants should get free health care, you're a bad person. I didn't make that up. His words. He said it. He's popular. Lots of believe him.
And two, them not having health care is actually bad for you as well. Monetary.
And I want to be clear on this. You might go, wait a minute, Larry. Is someone stopping him from having health care? This is the critical piece to understand if you want to talk to people on the left. He honestly believes, yes, what I mean by that. He cannot imagine. And he's not a dumb guy. If you know him, you watch stuff, he's not stupid. This guy, he is not dumb. That's not a thing. He's not dumb. He is blinded by ideology. He cannot fathom. In his mind, he cannot fathom anyone else giving healthcare other than government. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I'm not joking when I say that. He thinks in his mind, there's no other possible way except for government to provide healthcare. He cannot imagine it. This is why when he says, well, if the government won't pay for it, you are denying them healthcare. This is how he honestly feels. He's not lying. He believes this. He honestly believes this. If you remember, when Javier Milei was getting rid of departments, when he got rid of Department of Transportation, the left in America was like, he doesn't want any transportation. They actually said those words because they believe if the federal government doesn't give you transportation, there won't be any. This type of thinking is common. People on the left, and again, he's not dumb. He is blinded by ideology. So when he says Republicans are evil, because in his mind, if the government doesn't pay for it, you are being denied it. There is no difference in his mind. If the government doesn't pay for it, you are being denied it. There is no other way. And that's how he sees it. I just wanted you to see that piece. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I threw a lot of stuff at you guys today. I know I did, but I thought it was kind of cool. I thought you would enjoy it and understand how people think. And again, this guy's not dumb. It's not an intelligence piece. It isn't. It's an ideological piece. He cannot imagine that. So why do I say that? Because if you can show people another way, if you can, they might go, oh, so you can still, people can still get health care? Yes, they can. Yes. Without government doing it? Yes, they can. You can still get it. You can get health care without government paying for it. What? It's possible. Here's a way. And my issue is they don't show any other way, as always. So, yes. All right, let me grab a couple of comments. This is the AMA, so I want to be good on the AMA so that people can grab a couple of these. I do appreciate that, and we can walk down some roads here. All righty. Chris says, but off X, they can't declare any wars if everything's shut down, so that's awesome. No, not at all. Remember, the Congress doesn't declare war anymore. That's not a thing. The president just decides we're at war, so it doesn't matter. So I wish that were true, Chris. That'd be amazing. Remember something. We have been in perpetual war since about, 1941 or so. We've been in perpetual war almost every single year for 80 years. And since then, the last time we declared war was, I think, 1943 or 42. I think it's 43. We declared war on Romania, Bulgaria, and Hungary, who was Germany's allies in World War II. We declared war on them. We did not declare war on Finland, which was also a German ally, but we did not declare war on them. We only declared war on those three: Romania, Hungary, and Bulgaria. That's the last time we declared war. Yes, we haven't declared war. We didn't declare war in Vietnam. Didn't declare war in Korea. Didn't declare war in Iraq. We bombed Iran, Afghanistan. None of them. Grenada, Panama. We don't declare war. So that would be cool, Chris. It would be, but no. Trump or whomever, now Trump, but this is not Trump thing. This is a every president thing since Eisenhower. Truman. Since Truman. This is a every president since Truman thing. We just go to war because president says so. So in theory, brother, not in practice. That's all I'm saying. Not in practice. So yes. Vivek says, this is a little off topic. What did you think of Citizens United decision? Would campaign finance be fixed by just repealing a lot of the laws currently in the books? No, there is only one way right now, currently, to fix this. The idea of the Supreme Court making corporations people was one of the worst things we've ever done. It's an embarrassment to our nation. It's an embarrassment to humanity. It's insanely stupid. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's political garbage. We should be embarrassed. We should literally be embarrassed that our Congress said corporations are people. If they're people, well, then they can vote. If they're people, then they count towards the census, don't they? Right? So I can just make a bunch of companies and it will count towards the census? No, because they're not people, you morons. Of course they're not. That concept, if they're people, then they don't have to submit anything to the government because they could take First Amendment rights and say, Fifth Amendment rights and say, I don't need to say anything and speak at all because I might incriminate myself. So no, of course they're not. Are they going to invoke their Second Amendment rights and own guns? Are they going to invoke their Fifth Amendment rights and not speak to the government? Of course not. Are they going to vote? No. So insanely stupid. Every judge who voted for that should be ashamed of themselves. And the president should just about go, stop, you guys are morons. No, that's not true. Stop it. But I can't. We're not gonna. It's there. It's now precedent. And all that matters is precedent because judges love precedent so much. So one idiot says something and they go, well, one idiot said it, so I guess you got to keep it because an idiot said it. So we all have to be idiots now because one guy said something stupid. So we have precedent. So we have to be stupid now for the next 100 years. That's how judges work, sadly. So what we have to do is this. Two things. Number one, we have to make a very simple law. And that is, you may donate or spend money in whatever the case may be, donate or spend money on a campaign or on a political issue or for a candidate if you are eligible to vote. That's it. Not in that election, doesn't matter. Are you eligible? Not even if you're registered. Are you eligible to vote? You are, you may spend money. That's it. Make that rule. If you are eligible to vote, you may spend money. But Larry, I don't want to vote. Doesn't matter. Are you eligible? I am. You may vote. You may spend money. That's it. Well, Larry, I can't vote in that election. I didn't ask that question. Are you eligible to vote, period? I am. Wonderful. Good. It means you're a citizen. You're over 18. You're not currently incarcerated. Done. You're a citizen, 18 or older, not currently incarcerated. You should be able to spend money. Go ahead. Now, number one. Number two. Now, what will that do? Okay, no PACs. PACs can't vote. No companies. Companies can't vote. No unions. Unions can't vote. Immediately, all the money goes away. They can't spend money. They can't vote. Unless you're going to give them the right to vote. Okay, give them the right to vote then. Then make that, what, the 28th Amendment. Corporations can vote now. All right, then I'm wrong. Do that. But unless you're going to do that, and if we're that broken and stupid to do that, Vivek, then the war's over anyway. Who cares? So that's piece number one. Number two, all donations and all spending must be 100% transparent. Now, you can no longer do a PAC. You can no longer, right? Could you gather people together to spend money? You could, but that's individuals gather money together. It must be transparent. You do that, everything's fixed. Literally everything's fixed. But Larry, then a billionaire would come in and win an election. Oh, is that right? Is that how that works? Well, we could ask President Bloomberg. Oh, wait, we can't, because it doesn't work. When it's transparent, people don't like it. Yes. Remember when Adelson was backing Newt Gingrich? That didn't work either. Yeah. How about when Soros backs somebody? Doesn't work either, does it? Yeah, it doesn't. So that concept of billionaires run everything. They run everything now. I hear it all the time. But then billionaires run everything. They run it now. But if you had to know, literally, who gave money to so-and-so? Oh, Bill Gates wrote him a check for $100 million. Oh, I ain't voting for that guy. Done. What evidence do I have? President Bloomberg, who doesn't exist. That's the evidence I have. So you could solve the problem with those two issues. 100% transparent. You must be eligible to vote to spend money. Problem solved. The rest is irrelevant. You wouldn't even need caps. You would need nothing else. You would require no other laws if you just had those two. There'd be nothing else be required. Wouldn't matter. This would solve every other problem. You would require no other laws at all. They make them to make sure that little guys get hammered and be sued and get into trouble. Remember, some of you don't know, I've run for office, sadly, more than once. Campaign finance laws are not made to lessen the amount of money in politics. There's more money than ever. And there's more laws than ever. That's not what it's for. They will lie to you and tell you that. Particularly Democrats are worse than that. They will tell you that, oh, yeah, you got more. We need more federal legislation. We've been doing it forever, and there's more money than ever. So, no, that's not what it's for. Or to make it fairer. Also, garbage, not true. Stupid, doesn't work. It's made to keep little guys out. It is made to punish political opponents. They have laws that are just completely arbitrary. Things like when you have a certain expenditure, it must be reported within 24 hours. Why? You report every month. Why in 24 hours? There's no reason. It's arbitrary. It's just to punish you. So if you have large organizations, easy to do so because you have people who are doing everything, rocking back and forth. A small guy running his own campaign, he can't afford to do that. He can't do it. It's impossible. So he will be sued. He will be fined. He would punish. And his fine, which will be small for the big campaign, devastates him. That's the reason for campaign finance reform and laws is to punish outsiders. Anyone who tells you anything else either doesn't understand campaign finance laws or is lying. One of those two. Anyone goes, well, we need more. They either don't understand it or they're lying. It's just made to punish little guys. That's what it's made for. I hope that makes sense, Vivek. All righty. Grab some more of these if I can. All right. Roger says, I'm left to Figueroa. Here we go. And if you're here illegally, you should not be entitled to free health care. Look at that, Mike. You and Roger can agree on something. See that? This show brings everyone together. Legal? Yes. There we go. Like that. All right. The king is back. $20. Thank you. Question off topic. It's fine. Why are people offering solutions that are band-aids, like National Guard, instead of addressing root? Decrim, at the very least, cannabis, legalized prostitution, willing to compromise, not all drugs, etc. Yeah, here's the problem. The goal of the fix isn't to fix the problem. This is why. You're assuming they want to fix the problem. They don't. And I'm going to be clear on that. Government does not want to fix the problem. And as some of you go, wait a minute. I said this on Joe Rogan 7 years ago. He didn't believe me. And then I showed him how and explained why. And he was like, if you watched the episode, I told him then. They're not trying to fix the problem. He goes, no, they want to fix it. I said, no, they don't. you'd be right if they wanted to fix the problem. They don't. They want to make sure they can grift off the problem. This is why when there's a homeless problem, they don't fix the homelessness problem. They create a homeless industrial complex. When it's a migrant problem, they don't fix the migrants. They create a migrant industrial complex. When there's a cannabis problem, they create a cannabis industrial complex, right? They don't fix anything because you can't make money off the fix. The goal is to grift. I wish I was making that up. I wish I was lying. I wish I was just being mean. No, the evidence is everywhere. That's really the thing. I've had solutions to problems in New York on my website since 2018. I know that Kathy Hochul, Queen Kathy, first of her name, worst of the jab, destroyer of businesses, banisher of cannabis, of conservatives. I know her team, not her. Her team reads my website. I know because they take my talking points and put it in her speeches. I'm not joking. I've done shows on this. They do that. So I know they read my website. Her team, she doesn't. I'm sure she doesn't. But her team does. So if they had a policy team, they don't. But if they did, they could take my policies and fix things. It's right there. And it's been there since 2018. So we know they could work. We know it. I've explained how more than once. They don't take them. Why would they? They're not trying to fix anything. Not just that, Republicans can just take my policies. They're right there. They could use my policies as a foil against her. If they wanted to, just take them. And again, I'm going back to my Joe Rogan again. I'm sorry, I keep going back to it because I said it back then. That was 7 years ago. At the end of that show, he says, Larry, these are great policies. Where'd you get them from? I said, well, me and my team put them together. He said, oh, that's great. You better lock them down. I said, why? He said, people take them. I said, take them. Fix my state. I don't have to run. Do it. Just take the policies. Fix the state. I can stay home. I can stop doing this shit. Fine. Have they? No. I warned Republicans about Mamdani. I had Mamdani on my show 3 years ago. Did they listen? No. They don't care. I know that's hard for most people to understand, but recognize that most people who are in power do not want to solve things. If they did, they would solve them. And I'll give any of you who are listening, you guys who are Republicans and Democrats listening and watching. Over the past 25 years, the Democrats have controlled the House, Senate, Supreme Court, and presidency at the same time at least once, or if not twice, for the past 25, 30 years, at least. Okay. Where's Medicare for all? Nowhere. Where was your codification of Roe v. Wade? Nowhere. Why? Couldn't they have solved it? They could have. They didn't want to. You lean right. You're Republicans. Okay, great. Republicans, same thing. Over the past 25, 30 years, Republicans have controlled all three of those at least once, if not twice. All of them have had it. Great. Where was your where was your balanced budget amendment? Nowhere. Prior to Trump shutting the border down, prior to that, where was your immigration reform? Nowhere. What you want doesn't get solved even when they're in power. Doesn't matter. Doesn't get solved. They don't want to. That's the reason. You asked why. I gave you why. There's no incentive to. Why would you solve a problem when I can run against it? Why would I solve a problem when I can just say other guy bad and keep running against it? If I solve something, how can I make money off it? I wish I wasn't cynical. That's what we are. Remember, most people who come into this world, I was one of them. When I first ran in 2018, I really thought I could make a difference. I thought it wouldn't be as hard as it was. I didn't think it was be as corrupt as it is. I didn't think it was that bad. I knew it was bad. I know as bad as it was. Most people come in thinking they can do something, recognize they're up against the Nancy Pelosi's and the John Thunes of the world, and realize, oh, and the Mitch McConnells of the world, and realize, oh, I can't do shit. What am I going to do now? Become a rebel, like a Thomas Massey. You quit, like a Justin Amash. Or you grift, like most of the rest of them. What else can you do? You can't change anything. You can't move anything forward. You can't do anything. Why do you think we have so many executive orders? People get mad. The presidency is getting stronger because Congress won't do anything. You libertarians say this all the time. It's good when there's a mixed Congress, nothing gets done. That's a good thing. No, it isn't. That's a terrible idea. Because when Congress won't move, the president becomes more of a king every single time. It's a terrible idea, libertarians. I know it sounds good. That's rhetoric shit. That's not real. If Congress doesn't do anything, the president becomes more of a king every single time because nothing's getting done. And the Congress is happy because they're not responsible. They don't have to fix anything. Trump is bombing people just like Obama was bombing people, like Biden was bombing people. They've all been bombing people. Bush was bombing people. How come Congress hasn't stepped in and said, stop it? You can't do that. We're not funding it. We didn't declare war. No, you may not. Why not? Then they're responsible. Right now, this is Trump's war or Biden's war or Obama's war. It's not their war. They didn't declare. They can sit back and go, see, evil, bad guy. They don't solve because there's no reason to. There's no incentive to. We don't make the incentive either. It's our fault too. So anyway, Roger, thank you for $2. If they're people, we should be able to imprison them. Ooh. Roger, yes, you're right. Why can't we imprison the corporations? They're people, right? Put them in jail. I love it. Put them in jail. Try them for murder. Put them in jail. I'm with you. It's that Citizens United piece is such, it's almost unbelievable. I mean, it isn't, but it's almost that they would even say some stupid shit like that. Like that, literally, a judge would go, is a corporation a person? What is a corporation? It's numbers on a computer or numbers on a piece of paper. Yes, that's a person. What is wrong with you? Why would you say that? It's clearly not a fucking person. But it is. And they're not going to stop it because precedent, and precedent means everything. A couple knuckleheads said something stupid and they had robes on when they said it. So when people with robes say stupid shit, it's stupid shit forever now. They shouldn't have said that. Well, there we go. So that's how that works because precedent's far more important than common sense. I mean, not even close. Precedent way more important than common sense. So you got me going. See, you guys do Judge Day. I get all mad. All right, let me grab a couple more of these again. Phil, thank you for the $1 over on Rumble. They thought Javier Milei was gay because he wanted to get rid of the Department of Women. Oh, that's cute. Little joke there. Yes. But yes, but if you get rid of the Department of Women, there'll be no women. Clearly, there'll be no women. There's no women in Argentina anymore. They're all gone. All the women in Argentina are all gone. Have to be because he got rid of the Department of Women, so they're all gone. So yes. All righty. Let me see this. Daniel, let's see here. Says, oh, hold on. Where am I? Daniel wants to talk about his GoFundMe page. All right. Let me see. Daniel, I don't know. It's tough for me to go through this right now, to find this right now. Let me see what I can do. Let me grab and see what I can do and work on it. All right, Daniel, I will. Here's what I promise you. I will look at it right afterwards to see what I can do about this, to see if I can help out. I don't know right now. Tough timing right now. I got so much stuff going on. Let me see what I can do. I'll work on it after the show, and I'll get back to you either through me or the VA lady will get back to you tomorrow or latest Monday. All right. So I'm not ignoring you. Just timing right now is bad. We'll see what we can do. Thank you. All righty. Let me walk down some more of these if I could. I just have so many of these things popping up. All righty. Let's see here. Wow, Mike got a whole bunch to say. I don't know which ones to pick up. All right. I have tons of stuff here. Let me grab a couple of these. Shelly says, anyone see the anti-ICE guy pick a fight with someone who wasn't anti-ICE and get himself knocked out? Violence among citizens of the same municipality is pure evil. What I'm bothered about that, Shelly, more than anything, is that we're saying street violence is good in general. It doesn't. I don't feel better if it's anti-ICE guys or ICE guys, whatever. That shouldn't be the thing, right? We shouldn't be like, you know what the right answer is? Trying to knock somebody out. That'll solve the problem. That's my problem, Shelly. This shouldn't be a thing, right? That's the issue. Rick says, since narcissists are attracted to political power, true. People with moral centers aren't, true. And narcissists are much better in the deceitful sales pitch, true. Our only defense is diminish and restrain power. True. That was just yes, yes, and yes, Rick. Yes. And Rick says, in this, our Constitution was supposed to do that, and it's failed. True. This is the why people attack the Constitution. And some of you will be upset when I say this. But many of them they say, look, the Constitution has given us this. It has failed. I get the comment. I do. I get the comment. My response, I hope, is it's a temporary problem that we can repair, and the Constitution can be the place and the reason for the repair. That is my hope. I hope that's the case, Rick. I'm not sure that's the case, but I hope that's the case. So yes. All right. Mike says, oh, by the way, I love the Hegseth directive, not speech. He was dressing down generals and giving orders. About time the U.S. military gets back in order. Liberal tears means military is getting the right track. I'm not sure. I think time will tell on this one. And hear me out. There are definitely too many generals in our military, no doubt. There are definitely too many generals who aren't actually generals. They're just bureaucrats who are just making money. True also. That's accurate. I'm not sure he hit that piece. And that to me was a more important piece than the other piece. Now, will what he said change the culture so that that piece is affected? I don't know. And that's what I'm unsure about. His other aspects about things like, being physically fit and disciplined, on the money, brother. You're correct. On the money. And I know some people are going to say things like, Larry, you don't understand, today's world's all drones. Bullshit. Utter bullshit. If you meet any veteran who's come out of the Ukraine war, who's come out of fighting in the Middle East, who's come out of Africa. Now, I've met anyone coming out of Africa. I have not. I've seen interviews with them. I've met people who came out of Ukraine. I've met many people come out of Ukraine. A couple of people came out of the out of the Middle East. I haven't met any come out of Africa, but I've seen interviews of those. They tell you the same thing. This is a physical challenge. You have to go in now. You can't use vehicles. I'm not joking. With drone warfare, you can't put a bunch of troops on a truck and drive that on the road. It gets blown up and all 20 troops are dead. You can't do it anymore. You're using motorcycles at best. And you know where you're going? You're walking. I'm not joking. Usually at night with all of your gear. And resupply is very hard because that used to be with trucks and stuff. Those get blown up by drones. So you know how you get resupply? Walking. Why do it take so long in this Ukraine war to move forward? Where's the blitzkrieg? Those days are over. You are walking your way trench to trench. You are running and walking from tree to tree to avoid drone strikes. That's how that works. Physical prowess is still critical. And for him to go, no, we have to have standards. If you can't match those standards, you can't be in. If that means less women, which is what he said, then so be it. I'm not mad at him. But Larry, about diversity? Fuck diversity. You got to carry my water 8 miles. Can you carry my water 8 miles? I don't care if you're a man or woman. I don't care if you're tall or short. I don't care if you're black or white. I don't care. Can you carry the water to my platoon 8 miles? You can't. Have a nice day. And if that makes me a bad guy or an hysterophobe, then I'm an hysterophobe. Don't care. Can you carry my water 8 miles on foot? You can. I love you. Stay a Marine. You can't. Go do something else with your life. Don't care. Totally correct. And that's still true today. And people think it's not because of technology. That's not how the battlefield works. And if you meet anybody who's on the battlefield, you understand it is heavily done on foot now. We went from World War I to II back to I. Yes, we went from World War I to World War II back to World War I. That's how we're moving things around on foot. That's all I care about. So I get that piece completely. And the idea of discipline is even more. Why? Some may wonder, why is the military so strict on things like shaving standards, measurement perfect? How about your chevrons are on? Why? Attention to details, everything. And in today's world, even more. Why? I'll give you a perfect example of this. Drones are everywhere. Drones also, by the way, have, for those you don't know, they have that heat-seeking Oh, Jesus, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, they can see the heat. And so you have to use those coverings, those coverings when you're walking around at night so you don't get blown up by drones. Any part of your body is out, the drone can see it. They blow you up and kill you. You can't have an extra foot out, an extra hand out. You can't do that. You're dead. And if there's more people around you, when that drone hits, it might blow up more than one or two of you. You might kill you and your friends, you and your troops. So yeah, that part, Mike, I'm in. My worry is, will it affect the bigger piece, which is the mass amount of grifting generals we have? And you know what I'm talking about. We have a mass amount of grifting generals. I would bet at least half the generals we have in the Pentagon are grifters. At least half. Maybe more. I don't know that, but at least half. All they're doing is stuff that doesn't matter, make money, so they can be CIA agents later. I mean, just nothing but bad. So we have more generals now than we had during World War II. I'm not joking. And at the high point of World War II, we had 12 million people in the military. Now at the high point, we have 2 million. So we have 1/6 number of people and more generals. Something wrong. So I get it. I didn't like how he was kind of mean in many ways, only because it was public. I would have rather him not be as mean publicly. If you see my point, the style I didn't like as much. I would have rather him have done that in a closed session than publicly. I would have rather him do that. So, but I'm not fighting. Just saying. All right, move down this road if I could. Rick goes on to say, generals gathered in masses. Excess calls them all fat asses. That's funny. But yeah. All righty. Let me grab some more of this if I can. All right. Kim says they should not be getting paid when they're not working. One incentive is them if they're getting paid anyway. You know, this is because I agree with you, Kim. Look, if I get laid off of my job, I mean, I don't have a job, but when I had a job 20 some odd years ago, if I had to stay home, I didn't get back pay. I didn't get paid. Why do they? I'm not mad at them. Look, if you get it, good. Get it. Right? I'm not mad at taking the money. I would take it too, Kim. Like if I was working and they were deciding to, give me money after I got, laid off or whatever, I'm taking the money. I'm not mad at the guys taking the money. Our system's broken. We've also forgotten something else, which is most people who work for the government don't understand that they're supposed to be public servants, which means there should be some sacrifice. And that may sound cruel or mean, but it should be. But that's not there. Those days are long gone. So yes. All right. James says, I find it funny that Trump wants to blame the Democrats for the shutdown. The Republicans are the one in charge. I don't think that's uncommon at all, James. Don't they always blame the other guy? Don't they always? I think that's the thing, isn't it? Why you find it funny? Doesn't each side always blame the other side? I think it's normal. That's all I'm saying. I think it's normal. Liberty says, I've been told by GOP talking heads that there's no inflation. This clean CR is supposedly inflated because of inflation. What? I've been told by GOP talking heads that there's no inflation. This clean CR supposedly is inflated because of inflation. Oh. I guess that makes as much sense as I wanted to make. Yeah. Friend is here. Hello, my friends. Hello, friend. So happy to have you here. Yes. Bronner's here too. How are you, Bronner? Glad you are here. Bronner says, missed all of you last round. I'm sorry. You can still hear my voice. I still got a little bit left over. I have not finished it. It's not over. It's not over. So yes, absolutely. All righty. Shelly says, I miss Larry Sharpe and the Sharpies, the best show in chat. True. That's accurate. Yes. Mike says, Obamacare subsidies proves Obamacare is a failure. True. I agree completely. This is my point, Mike. You agree. We're saying the same thing. Obamacare was at best a Band-Aid. And I'm being nice when I say that. And I get we were at a point where when Obamacare was enacted where far too many Americans were literally going bankrupt because of medical bills. I get why they wanted to do something. I'm not saying this was the right answer. This was not the right answer. I'm not saying that. I'm explaining why I get why they were like, we got to do something. This is terrible. And they're right. Again, as I keep saying, Democrats are very good at identifying problems. This solution was garbage. Obamacare is not a great solution. Some people were better off. That's true. less people went bankrupt. That's true. I mean, so there was some benefit to Obamacare. There was, but it wasn't a long-term solution at all, and isn't, and it is right now a failure. You're correct. We shouldn't have to keep throwing more money at it. If it was working, then we would have thrown more money at it, right? So you're right. This is why it was never been fully implemented. It can't work on its own. True. Dems failed Americans chasing single-payer healthcare. It's even worse. Yeah, but Republicans had no answer. See, this is your issue, Mike. You talking shit about Democrats. They have bad answers. Yes. What was the Republican answer? None. Where's Trump's healthcare plan? Remember, he's got a policy, ideas about it. That was bullshit. He has no answer for it. He has no answer either. So Republicans have no answer. And what do I always say? I'm a broken record. When you give people a bad answer or no answer, what do they take? The bad answer every time. So Obamacare was an answer. It was a Band-Aid. And some people were helped by it. True. It can't work long-term. It's an overall failure. That's true. But then where's the Republican answer? There is none. So what are we with? Obamacare. You don't even hear, remember, you just made it even worse, Mike. Republicans have controlled the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court and presidency. Where's the repeal of Obamacare? Nowhere. Where's the Republican answer? Nowhere. They don't want to solve this problem. Republicans either. I know you like hammering Democrats all the time. Republicans are no better. They have no answer. They don't want to solve this problem. They don't want to solve this problem. None of them want to solve this problem. So, yeah. So I know yellow Dems. Yellow Republicans too. Where's their answer? There ain't one. So what are we going to do? We're stuck with this. When Republicans have an answer, we can do this. I have an answer. So it's on my website. Had an answer for New York State 7 years ago. They don't pick my answer. So I'm talking about this idea of the market failing. With that in mind, guys, let me do me a small favor if you would. Small favor. When you have a second, I would like you to do it like very soon, please. Click the link that is in the description that sends you over to the advocates. There is literally an article there saying markets don't fail, governments do. And this was just a couple weeks ago. It's an article by George Smith, and he's talking about how big government is what actually fails. It's literally Obamacare. I mean, not literally, but it is, right? It's saying how, look, if you actually let the market run, the market does work. The market will work if you have an actual market. And the glory, the absolute glory of the marketing of Obamacare, which I know drives Republicans crazy, but the marketing Democrats did was great. The marketing was, see, we have a marketplace. We gave you the free market. I know it's not the free market. I know it's not. I'm well aware it's not the free market. What I'm saying is that was the marketing done by Democrats. I keep telling you, Democrats have better rhetoric. And another great rhetorical piece. See, it's the marketplace. So the free market, Democrats gave you the free market. They didn't, but that was the people believe it. I've heard more than one person tell me, Larry, I understand you don't like Obamacare. It's a free market. You're a free market guy. Yeah, it's not, but that's the point. And this article talks all about that, how it actually works, what actually fails, what actually works, how the government collapses. Do me a favor, read this article. It's Markets Don't Fail, Governments Do. Head over to the advocates, go to the article section, look for this article, read it. When you're done reading it, grade it. How persuasive was it? 10, 0, in the middle, whatever. Grade it, submit that, and then share this. I bug you to share this every single episode. Why? Because I want more and more conversations. I want people to understand that Obamacare wasn't the free market. But Larry, it obviously isn't. No, if you're a libertarian, you know that. If you're not a libertarian, you might not. And the average person thinks, well, it's a marketplace. I'm not joking. I didn't finish showing you the Smerconish piece, but Smerconish literally said that. He goes, I went to the marketplace. He said it. Smerconish is a very intelligent person, and he said it. It's not intellect. It's ideology and what they hear and who they talk to. So guys, go there to the advocates for self-government, read this article, grade it, whatever you think. I don't care, put 0, put 10, put whatever, and share it. Get more people seeing this, more people talking about this, because Obamacare has failed overall because it isn't the actual market. It's still government health care. But it's the worst. It's not even what Roger wants. It's not even just Medicare for all. It's not that. It's the worst of both. It's the worst of both. At least if you're going to do government health care, do it to Medicare for all. If you can do it, just do it. Just do it. Do Medicare for all. Just do it. Or don't. So, guys, please do me a favor. Click that specific link so that people know where it's coming from. Grade this and then share it. It does matter. So, yes. Michael says, ACA has degraded healthcare in this country for almost 20 years. And the private healthcare insurance mandates and subsidies. True. Yes, it has made things worse. It has. To be forward, Michael, it has helped some people. Some people, less people have gone bankrupt since Obamacare. That's true. Less have. So it has helped some people. I don't want to give it 100% zero, 100% failure, but it has failed overall. You're totally correct. And overall, it's made things worse. No doubt. That's absolutely true. Yes. So, all right, I'm grab a couple more of these if I can. All righty. Let's see here. Failed thing with $2. Was sec war speech mean in public for deterrence? Mean in public? Oh, for the no, I think he was grandstanding. I don't think he should have. I don't think he should have done it. I don't think he should have done it publicly. I don't like that idea. I don't like that. Yes. Roger, thank you for $2 says GOP has no answer because Obama stole their Romney care. True, that was GOP answer. And boy, Republicans hate that, Roger. They hate that. They hate that that was Romney care. They can't stand that Obamacare is actually a Republican plan. And Republicans wouldn't put it in play. So Obama said, how about I do it? Republicans said, that's terrible. And Romney's like, you loved it when I was talking about it. And then Obama says you hate it. Wait a minute, I thought it was good. I was, what happened? And then it's a little bit worse than Romney care. It actually works worse. But still, you're right. It was absolute Republican plan. The only one they had. And when Obama took it, the Republicans were like, damn, now what do we got? You know what we got? We got Obamacare sucks. Okay. Is that it? Yes. That's it. Obamacare sucks. That's it. Fame says, what happened to the bird billion? Bird billion. I'm not sure what the bird billion is. Did I miss something? Hold on. Should I know what bird billion is? Should I know what that is? I don't know what happened. I'm not sure what bird billion is. It just looked like it is. It's not, it didn't pop up immediately, so I don't know what it is. You got to help me out with that. I don't know what bird billion is. You got to help me out with that one, brother. I don't know what that is. So, all right. Put it in a regular chat, see if I can find it. So, I'll see if I can find a regular chat. So you don't have to go through that again. But I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Let me, any more over there? No, good. And then over there, good. All right. Let me keep going down here. I can. All righty. Shelly says, the thing is that you can't hire everyone from your party to federal jobs and then lay them off and expect them to still like you. Ooh, good point. I like that. Good point. I like that. That's a lot. All right, let me grab some more of these. You guys, I'm behind in the chat. I'm going to try to catch up to the best of my ability. So, yes. Let's see here. Friend says, we should have Larry, but it has been force-fed that we need Big Brother. Yes. And there's no way. Oh, Violetta says Buffalo Billion. Oh, Buffalo Billion. Maybe that's where it is. Thank you, Violetta. Buffalo Billion. Yes. The Buffalo Billion. For those of you who don't know, there was a bunch of cash. This was actually under Cuomo. Cuomo? Yeah, under Cuomo. $1 billion was going to go into Buffalo, which, of course, those of you who don't know, is our most western large city in New York State. And it's the second largest city in the state. New York City, obviously, is first. Then Buffalo is our second largest city. Third, I think Rochester is third. Syracuse is fourth. I think that's right. I think that's correct. Could be reversed. Syracuse, Rochester. I think Rochester's third. Syracuse is fourth. Anyway, so second largest city. So in that case, we're gonna put $1 billion in there and make Buffalo amazing, and Buffalo's still losing people. Now, are there some pretty things in Buffalo from it? Yes, there are. There's some ships out there. You can go tourist ships you can see out there. I've been to many of them. The dock out there is beautiful. There's lots of nice spots out there. People walk out there. It's nice, but we're not getting $1 billion back. The Buffalo Billion was another giveaway to cronies, which is what it always is. Every time the government says we're going to put money into it, what you want to do to make things work, if you really want things to work, is you just lease out the land to private companies and move government out of the way so they can build things. Then when they build things, you've got some form of either business tax already in New York State or land tax already in New York State. You just make more money from the land tax and or the taxation and or the leasing rights. Then the government makes money as they make money. It is that simple. But here's the problem with that. And this is the issue that literally Shelley's talking about. If I do that, if I'm the governor and I say, here's some land that the government owns, I don't want to sell the land out. I want to lease it so I can keep making money, right? I want the government to keep making money, right? So I lease it out to whatever. Yeah, Michael's casino company, whatever, construction company, whatever. And he's going to go build something on it. Okay, awesome. As he builds on it, he's going to make money eventually, and he'll build it quickly. Why? Because he wants to make money. He's paying me a leasing fee every year or every month. Well, he's got to make money to pay for that lease, so he's going to build quickly. If the government builds it, what is their incentive to build quickly? There is none. Why would they build quickly? Well, to get the job done. Why do they care? Well, so they can get paid. They get paid more if they do it longer. But no, there's a budget, which they'll increase. So if I say the budget's of $100,000 to build this thing in 6 months, well, they'll find reasons to not build it. The government will come in and say, this is wrong. I got to do this. Someone will protest, whatever. So now it takes 9 months. Well, I had to pay those guys to be there and do stuff and hang out for a lot of time. So now the budget went up. So they get paid more. Did they do any more work? No. They made more money to do less work. So failure is rewarded with more money. I'm not making this up. That's how it actually works. But not just that. The guys who own the company, right? Mike's company, whatever, I give them more money. I'm the governor. He's now indebted to me. He wants to make sure I don't find somebody else. So he gives some of that money back to me in the form of donations or jobs to my friends or no-show jobs to other people. So now we're grifting back and forth. We're grifting back and forth on taxpayer dollars. So the incentive is to not solve the problem. The incentive is to not fix quickly. Now I change the incentive. I'm not controlling who gets what. I just go, here's the lease, go. He's going to pay me, the government, every single month for the leasing fee, whatever. Oh, every year, whatever, however we make the deal, right? He's going to keep paying me. If he's not making money, he's just paying. He's losing money. So he's going to build fast. My job, if I wanted to build fast, is to get my goons off of him so he can build quickly. Because if he doesn't build quickly and he builds slowly, then he's not making money, so I don't get my tax base back. I get more money the faster he can get up and running, the faster he can make money. Sales tax, the property is increases the value, so land tax, whatever. I get more money the faster he's up and running. So now my incentive is for him to be up and running quickly. It's all about incentives. Remember, corporations aren't evil. They're apathetic. They don't care. If I incentivize them to do good, they'll do good. I incentivize them to work fast, they'll work fast. I incentivize them to work slow, they work slow. I incentivize them to fail, they fail. That's simple. So the way of building Buffalo should have been just leasing land. That's it. Lease land, allow people to build, take the money off to build. They don't do that because I don't get to give unions extra cash, which I need to. If I'm in New York State, I got to do that. But if I do the other way, I can't do that. Now, luckily, if I become governor, I'm not beholden to unions. They hate me. So I'm not beholden. I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter. They'll help me or they won't. Whatever. I'm going to bring more jobs. Hopefully they'll like to have more jobs. But they're not going to be able to grift as much. They have to work and still get jobs. It's fine. Build stuff. Happy to build stuff. Not against unions. But you're not grifting. That's not happening. They're going to hate that. They don't like that grifting part at all. We can't grift? No. That's going to suck. Anyway, hope that makes sense to you. That's the reason why. It goes back to my whole point of them actually not wanting to fix things, which is sadly true. So, all right, let me grab some more of these if I can. All righty. Brona says, is the government still taking money from your paycheck? Yes. Then there's no shutdown. Accurate statement. Yes. Accurate statement. Yes. So yeah, I definitely think if they're going to stop, that's the problem. See, if they stop taking money, I would never want the government to come back on. I'm like, no, shut it down forever. Shut it all down. Yes, absolutely. That's the problem. So, all right, grab a couple more of these if I can. All right. Mad Nomad says, why is USPS mail still being delivered? Yes, they have to be. That's actually in our Constitution. So you can't stop that. So yes, you can't stop that. Yes, it will always keep going. Yep. Shelly says, because USPS has to deliver the mail. Yes. My mom was a mailman, female man. I like that. That's funny. Yes. They have to be. Yes, they have to go. They're one of the only things, businesses, I guess, if you count a business, that's in the Constitution. So they kind of have to. There has to be that. So yeah. Matt says, Larry, if police get money and it's dependent upon getting arrest quotas, how do you incentivize getting more money but not giving more tickets? Yes. There are two ways you incentivize that. Number one, you simply put a cap on the amount of money that any police force can take any given month, right? You put a cap on it. So you say, hey, any money you bring in, whatever that money is, right? Any given month or quarter, I'm not sure if they calculate by quarter or by month. I assume it's monthly. That's my assumption. But I would bet other police forces, smaller ones, probably do by quarter. So my assumption is in this case, by month. So every month, a police force can take X dollars. That's it. So if you get more arrests, if you get more dollars for tickets, right? More dollars, doesn't matter. You can't take the money. The money will be given back to the people in some kind of tax rebate, some kind of fund. Maybe even create a sovereign fund. Maybe give it to a public bank to make Roger happy. Maybe it goes to a public bank. Whatever. You find a way to put it. The police force itself cannot get any more dollars than the flat fee, whatever that flat fee is. What that would mean is you would still have people giving tickets and stuff because they still want to generate some money, but it doesn't make them just get more tickets, right? They're not trying to get more tickets. They are simply trying to get at a certain level. Then it's just, is this a problem, right? Because here's a second piece. You want, as I say all the time, you want police forces to be judged by the people they police. I'm not joking, right? People should be policed how they want to be policed. Do I want a cop on every corner? Some neighborhoods, yeah. So if you have bad neighborhoods, I know a lot of bad neighborhoods who would love a cop on every corner. And I know the concept is defund the police. That's stupidity. I get that. That's not the vast majority of people, that's not a thing. There's a couple people who want that, but that's not a thing. Now, if you're like an Amish world, you might want that because you don't want cops at all because you police yourself. Okay, but unless you're in that world, right, that's not a thing. So you can do it very simply. Are the people safer? That's it. Are the people safer? Are the people in your community saying, I'm safer? Two things, though. Are they actually safer? Meaning, is crime going down? Right? Number one. And then two, do they actually feel safer? Both things. If those two things are true, why do I care about quotas? My quotas become irrelevant. What I want is crime down? Is crime down? So whatever tactics are required to keep crime down is a tactic you should be using. In certain communities, that might be more arrests. In other words, that might be more police presence. I don't have to make a decision on that. If my goal is not arrest quotas, but crime being down, and literally surveys by people within the community, literally surveying people. Are you safer? Are you feeling good? Yeah, I'm better than I was. Police force winning. Police force winning. Those two things will help your local police forces be better. Because again, I'm not saying arrests are the right answer or are not. I'm saying what is going to make that community safer and feel safer. If that's arrest, then arrest away. If that's more police presence, okay. If that's backing off and making more community policing, okay. I'm not mad at any of those things. I want people to locally decide what's right for them. That's how you do it. I hope I answered your question again. Yes. All righty. Let me walk down here if I can. You go to grab that piece. Okay. Kim says, dissolve the Fed. Yep. Make we the people banks. Yep. We should own our money. Yes. The system working on behalf. We can become self-insured as a nation for every type of insurance available. Win-win. Yes, yes, and yes. That's all yeses. Kim, all yeses. Michael says, Ocasio-Cortez for Schumer's seat. Yes, I think that's true. I think that's true. I think she's going for a Senate seat, which again, in my view, great choice for her. Great choice for her. She goes Senate seat and she wins. My gut says if she actually runs for Senate, Schumer does not run. Schumer does not want to take that L and cannot win. He's unpopular. I think he walks away. He retires. I think she wins it hands down. If she does that, give her one term, maybe she's VP or president. Oh, I'm sorry, nominee. I'm not saying she's going to win. I don't know if she'll win, but she'll be the nominee. Yeah, she is recovering very well. She really made some mistakes early on. She's recovering to the best. Whoever's advising her, well done. She is recovering better than I thought she could recover. She really is recovering better. Yes, she's recovering much better. All righty. Let me grab you a couple. Okay. All right. Robert says, did you see the soy farmers demanding relief, Larry? If they had been black, they'd be described as looking for a handout. I'm not sure that's true nowadays, Robert. I think if you go back several years, that'd be true. I think now, if you look at most farmers now, most people don't see color anywhere near as much as they used to. I think it's changed a bit. I think most people see farmers as farmers. Most, there are exceptions, obviously, but I think most people don't see race as much when it comes to farmers, not as much as they used to. He says maybe urban farmers, perhaps. Maybe that's a separate piece. Yeah. The problem, of course, with the soy farmers is with most farmers, and this is an issue that we have forever, which goes back to the same issue again. I'm a broken record. It's because they rely upon the government to buy stuff. They rely upon the government to do stuff. They rely upon the government. That's the issue. The reason why I was worried about these tariffs, and I still am, I'm not sold on these tariffs at all. Look, I hope that Trump's got something magic up his sleeve and stuff goes awesome. I hope it does. I do. And I'm not just joking when I say I don't want the farmers to collapse. I don't want the country to collapse. I hope he's got some plan I don't know about and great stuff's going to happen. I hope so. As I said before, and I've been saying, it's not looking good. The tariffs did not work well back in the 20s, and they aren't working well now. They are not. You can see it with the soy farmers, right? The Chinese went, oh, you gonna, okay, we won't buy from you anymore. We'll buy from Argentina. We'll buy from Brazil. We won't buy from you anymore. So the soy farmers are screwed. They're in trouble. And so what are you going to do? Trump's going to give them a check. Because what does government do? Write checks. So yes, now we have socialism for farmers. So great. Trump hates socialism, except this one. So yes, same old thing. I see it again. It is, you're right. It's a problem. But I don't think they've been seen that way in this case. Again, the reason is some of those farmers are black. I mean, I don't think most soy farmers are black. I don't think so. I'd have to do homework on that one. But some of those farmers are black. They're going to get a check too. So I'm not sure that's true. So, but yeah. Yeah, Kim says it to Robert. Farmers are becoming beggars. I hate that. They're not supposed to. We have treated our farmers so poorly to put them in this spot, Kim. Our farmers are supposed to be treated like the entrepreneurs they are, like the small business owners that they are. And we have completely abandoned them like that. I hate that you're right. Why are you always right, Kim? I hate when you're right. We should not have done that. We have failed them. As a nation, we have failed them. You are correct. That should not be the issue. Yes. So Kim goes on to say, the only reason the government subsidizes the farmers is so they can control production. Also true, and we shouldn't worry about that. We don't need to. We don't need to. Yes. Kim also goes on to say, why keto letting you get sick, Larry? I'm going to be very forward. I got sick for 2 reasons. But the number one reason is my sleep has been garbage. My team's actually bugged me about it. And Larry, I've been looking tired. I've been sleeping terribly. These last 3-4 weeks, as I've been making different shifts, doing different things, changing what's happening in my household, seeing what's happening outside, I've been sleeping terribly. I mean, 3-4 hours a night, maybe. That's it. You can't keep doing that, Kim, for weeks on end and not get sick. Your immune system collapses. Keto is pretty good. I mean, keto kept me up for a couple of weeks that I probably shouldn't have been. The other day when I wasn't on, when I wasn't doing shows, my team knows I was sleeping 14 hours a day. I was catching up on not sleep. Sleep was the reason why. And the second reason why is because not only was I not sleeping, but I was shaking 40,000 hands the last couple of weeks as I was out. So I'm out meeting people, shaking hands, kissing babies, and not sleeping. That combo is devastating. So yeah, my immune system was shot because I wasn't sleeping. And because I wasn't sleeping very well, and I was eating still keto, but I also wasn't taking supplements at all. So I wasn't supplementing well, and I wasn't sleeping well, shaking 1,000 hands. You get sick. So that is the answer. It isn't keto's fault. Keto is magic, but you got to sleep. So yeah. Robert says, I've been saying that Democrats are willing to implode their own party instead of meet the demands of the base. And you're right. The Democrats are not. The closest people to doing it, the closest is AOC and Bernie, and they're not. But they're the closest, which is why they're so popular, because people feel like, oh, okay, they're trying. Okay, they're desperate for something. So I think they're the closest, but even they're not. So yeah, I agree with you. Gregory says 53 Republicans. CR vote needs 60 votes to pass. Dems cast deciding votes. Dems have demands like health care for illegals and taxpayer for that's not the first part is not true. I'm gonna be clear on that. They do have demands, but not for this specific bill. They do want that, not for this bill. Yes. If you don't understand that, you're part of the problem. No, Gregory, you're incorrect. There is a nuance there. Is all I'm saying. There's a nuance there. They do want that, but not for this bill. But they want that. For this bill, all they want is the Obamacare stuff. They only want Obamacare stuff for this bill. They'll fight for those things. That's the next bill. So that's the only difference. There's a nuance. Don't fall for Republican propaganda. Don't do that. Republicans have propaganda too. I know people like only Democrat propaganda. Nope, both do. Both have propaganda. That's one of them. So yes. All righty. Shelley says that on the good news side, Larry knows the difference between Erie, New York, and Erie, Pennsylvania. True. Unlike Hillary Clinton, who got pranked by a PA radio station. Yeah, I do know a difference. It's true. I do. All right. Michael says hipster beard. He did have a hipster beard. You are correct. Yes. Bronner says, as a devout anarchist, wholly believing the state's not necessary, I agree, Larry. Having a shitty plan is better than what we see all the time, bitching, moaning, whining with zero plan. Yes. And it's just human nature, Bronner. It isn't that it's, if I'm drowning and someone puts their hand out to pull me out of the water, I don't care who that person is. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they a communist? Are they a libertarian? I don't care. Are they black? Are they white? Are they gay? Are they straight? You're pulling me out of the water. Okay, thank you for pulling me out of the water. I'm drowning, right? Now, the thing is, some people may or may not be drowning, but if they believe they're drowning, they'll take any hand. Doesn't matter if in the long run, you don't want to have a communist pull you out of the water in the long run. You're going to be a communist. I want to be out of the water. It's fine. It's a communist. It's fine. I don't want to drown. I'll take the communist hand out. It's fine. So I think, yeah, it's a big point that we have to understand. People are still human, and most people aren't thinking long-term when they're struggling short-term, right? That's the issue. They don't see it, right, when they're struggling short-term. So, yes. Joel says the ACA was great for insurance companies. Absolutely. Yes. How can I get a law passed that makes the product I produce become mandatory? Yes. I think we should all have to watch the Shortwave Show at least 1 hour per week. That should be a law. Let's make that a law. You have to watch the Shortwave Show at least 1 hour a week. And if you don't, you got to pay me a fine. I love that law. We'll call it the Shortwave law. I'm in, Joel. Let's do it. You have to watch at least an hour a week. If you don't, you got to pay me a fine of $6.99. Why $6.99? Because that's what it is if you want to become a member. That's why. See that? So you can just become a member and you pay the fine and you don't have to worry about watching the show ever. Please watch the show. But you don't have to. If you just become a member, you help me out without watching the show. Watch the show. But I'm just saying you wouldn't have to, would be the issue. Guys, you want to become a member, please do so. It used to be $49 per month, and then YouTube said it's not, even though I said it was. I wish I was joking. I literally made it $49, and they went, no, it's 6. I went, no, it's 4. No, it's 6. Well, I'm going to change it back to 4. They went, no, I said it's 6. See what I said? I said 6. And I said, okay, it's 6. That's what actually happened. I wish that wasn't the case. I wanted it to be 4. It's 6. So $6.99 is what it is to become a member. Not because I wanted it to be, because YouTube has demanded it to be so. So it is. So please do so if you can. It helps me out financially. I appreciate it. Obviously, the more I do, I get that, then the less I have to work. And the more I can do this is what I try to achieve if you could. So please do that if you want to. Also, I try other than AMAs to grab members first. And in addition to that, I also have member only shows, meaning members come on the show. Members are on the show with me. Everyone can watch. I don't do anything exclusive like that. Anyone can watch, but the members are physically on the show. I'll do another one probably next month. I'm trying to find time to do it. I'm insanely crazy busy, as you can see. So help out if you can. I'd appreciate it. That's why that number is such a cool number. But here's a free way. Larry, I don't have $6.99 a month to give you. Okay. Do you have a digit that can click a button? Do you have one? I don't care what digit. You pick the digit. I don't care. I don't care. Pick the digit. You pick it. I'm not watching you. So use the digit you want. But click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. That's free. The button known as like is free. Click that. No $6.99. Click that button with any digit you want. It helps me out tremendously. But there's a second thing you can do that's even more important. That's also free. You can share or repost this someplace. Do that. Also free. Do that. If you got $6.99 per month, do that if you have it. If you don't, click the button, share it, repost it. That's free. Either way, you help the show out. I grow more. More people see this. Please do that. It does matter. Share it in a Facebook group. Share it on X, wherever it is. Do that. It does matter. Please help out the show. Please make that happen. I appreciate it. All righty. Let me keep going down if I can. All right. Phil says, how come the government limits the number of new doctors each year? That's because the doctors want that. Yes, it's dumb. There's no reason for it to. Everything that's more expensive, government runs. I'm not making that up. Healthcare is going up. Why? Because government controls that. Government doesn't only control how many doctors, government also controls how many hospital beds. I'm not joking. It's called a certificate of need. Certificate of need decides how many beds are available in a given state. Yes, government decides. You could just let groups decide, communities decide you could just do that. No. Government knows better, Phil. Okay? And of course, what does it do? When government gets involved, it doesn't make things better. It makes things more expensive. Yes. Mad Nomad says, ACA was not a failure at all for me and millions of others. It did help people. I'm not saying you're wrong, Mad Nomad. It did help people. You're right. Overall, it did not. Right? Overall, it did not. Overall, it made healthcare more expensive, which is why we have to keep paying for it because it's more expensive. And overall, it made most small business owners get hammered. Most small business owners got hammered. Most did. Not all, but most did. And also it made the government have to pay more for it to subsidize it constantly, as you're seeing now. But yes, some people were helped. Government programs aren't by default bad for everyone. That's not true. Government programs often help people, and ACA does too. But it doesn't mean it's the right answer overall. It doesn't mean it helps the most people. It doesn't mean it's better in the long run. It was a Band-Aid. Statistically, you can see less people in America go bankrupt since the ACA. That's true. Some people are helped by it. But I'm talking overall, it was a Band-Aid. It needed to be repaired. If it didn't, we would have to keep giving money to it. So I'm not saying you shouldn't be helped. I'm saying that wasn't the best way to help you. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't the best way. There were better ways, for sure. So yes. All right. I want to grab some of those. I'm so behind. I'm trying to catch up, guys. James says the Humanist Report has the balls to call out people for duping us when his Democratic Party is doing the same. The Humanist Report, he's an ideologue. So he's going to say what's required to being an ideologue. But again, also most people who are in that world, who are doing that kind of stuff, they spend a lot of the time insulting people, and that's how they make money. Similar to when I show you Crystal's oldest son, when he does his show, right? He's just yelling and screaming and insulting people, but they love it. Why do they love it? Because again, remember, the right distract, the left dismisses. It's how they work. It works well. Yes, absolutely. Matt says, I just can't stand listening to a Democrat speak like this guy. It's always 90% pure BS. Gaslighting true. Republican BS meters 80%. That's cute. I like that. Well, again, I say it constantly, right? When you look at this, Democrats are good at acknowledging a problem. It's true. They're very good at it. And I think the sad part is they don't often have good answers, but they express the problem. Here's the problem. See? And they're right. People are hurting. Things are wrong. This doesn't work. They're right. But if you don't have an answer for that, if you can't go, here's the way we can fix it. When a Democrat says, well, give more money, they go, well, okay, I guess we'll give more money then, because what else the other guy has no answer. Your answer is more money. Okay, I guess more money. It's a problem. The concept is, gotta do something. That's the idea. And I get it. So it definitely is a problem. Ira says, even though the federal income tax is constitutional and legal, you are only required by law to file and pay if you are a citizen or resident or work in D.C. per the government's official legal websites, not the states. Contact freedomlawschool.org for the truth. Well, there we go. Guys, check it out. Thank you, Ira. That's freedomlawschool.org. You'll get the truth there. That's what he says, at least. So we'll see. Liberty or Death says, why don't all these lefties house, feed, clothe, and bring illegals to the doctors themselves? That's why you have government, Liberty or Death. Government will do all the enforcing for you. Don't you know how that works? And the reason is they don't have to, because the real issue is all the rich people, it's their job to do that. They must, because they're evil and they have to pay for their sins. So get it right, Liberty or Death. Understand this. So yes. All right. Gene says, Medicare only covers 80% of healthcare costs. There's no such thing as free healthcare. It's paid for by taxes and called free in other countries. True, absolutely. But the issue is twofold. One, you have a lot of people who believe that if the government doesn't do it, you are being denied it. And that's an important distinction. That's not true. You can get it other ways. But the problem is most people don't give other ways to get it. That's the issue. So yes. Joel says, the government's denying my European vacation. True. Is the government paying for your European vacation? It's not. It's denying it. And you know what, Joel? You're an American. You deserve a vacation. You're a hard worker. Oh my God, I'm ready to run for office, aren't I? I'm going to run for president now. You're a hard-working American, Joel. Hard-working Americans across this country who are doing the right thing, doing everything right. And now the government won't pay for their European vacation. The government's denying them the right to have a European vacation. And you know, Joel, every American has a right to a European. I'm the next Democratic nominee. Done. I'm the next Democratic nominee. You know what, Joel? Every American deserves, good word, right? Deserves European vacation, right? It's a right to be able to go on vacation. That's freedom of movement. That's the First Amendment, freedom of movement, right? They deserve the right to, they have a right to European vacation. And the government won't pay for it, why are they denying European vacations? I'm ready to go. 2028, Democratic nominee right there. I'm done. Ready to go. I love that. That's great. Liberty Death goes on and says, all these limousine liberals want to spend everyone else's money but their own. True. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yes. All righty. Let's see if I can go down here. Mad Nomad says, not to mention private healthcare insurance has pre-existing condition constraints. That was removed on Obamacare. But yeah, I get your point. There are ways of fixing it. I'm not saying you're wrong, right? There are ways of fixing it. You can do it. And I've talked about it in the past, right? What you act in my better world, what I'd prefer is you'd have a government system that would only be for catastrophic. You'd have a localized system for everything else. And the more you spend time with your doctors and local communities, the less you'll have, catastrophic issues, the less percentage by percentage. You'll always have, the car accidents and such, always, right? But I think in the long run, you'd actually have better healthcare, better health with catastrophic insurance, so that when the bad thing happens, you don't go bankrupt. And that's the critical piece. I think you can do that. Yes. All right. Bronna says, Larry, isn't it the same with pretty much both sides? The government doesn't provide it. You are being denied it. For example, military and police protection. I think yes, but the rhetoric is very different, right? Republicans will always act as though the private market's doing it, even when it isn't. They'll talk that way. Democrats always talk about you deserve it. It's a right. Always. What most mainstream Democrats want to do is they think that if you make it a right, that it becomes free all of a sudden. If you make it a right, it becomes a guarantee all of a sudden. It actually isn't. When you make something a right, only one thing happens. It becomes more expensive. And that's every single time. You make it a right, it becomes more expensive. So it doesn't necessarily become better. And how do I know that? Because the wealthy people don't use it. Wealthy people still use their own doctors. Wealthy people use other things. That's how you know. Yes. So, any case. The King says all this violence, gangs, etc., and drug use could have a major chunk taken out with these two things. What two things? I must have missed something. I must have missed it. I didn't see that one. I must have missed something. I apologize. All righty. Let me see if I can go down here if I can. So many of these. I'm sorry. I still have a little bit of that cough. And you guys going back and forth, which I love that piece. Yes. Gene says, if we don't need millions of laws, what would Congress do? I have a great idea, Gene. Could you imagine if instead of us worrying about these millions of laws, we would retroactively say every single law in, say, New York State as an example, or wherever you want to, by default, has a 6-year sunset. 6 years. Yes. So after 6 years, if it's not re-invoked, if it isn't re-voted on, it goes away. Gone. Every single law. Imagine that. What would Congress be doing? Re-looking at all the laws that are all garbage and shouldn't be on the books. Yes. And make a second piece of that. Each law must be a single issue vote. You can't just go, all the laws are good. Must be a single issue vote for each one of them. Each separate law must be re-voted on every 6 years, or it goes away. Imagine all the laws that'll go away. Be great. And the argument I always get with this is, what about murder? That's the same stupid one I get every single time. Okay, first off, are they going to forget murder? If they do, shame on them. But let's assume they do. Let's assume that they forget to revamp murder or whatever. Okay, it does happen. I don't know why, but in this dumb world you've made up in your head, it happens where they go, we don't care about revoting on murder, and murder's not a crime in New York for a day or whatever. And then some guy gets arrested for murder, and a lawyer goes, you can't charge him with murder because murder's not a law because you guys didn't vote on it. Great. They'll charge that one guy with manslaughter and have an emergency session and vote in murder. That's what would happen. So one guy might get manslaughter once instead of murder one time, assuming that the assembly was that dumb or that broken as to not revote in murder. So yes, that's a stupid, silly thing that people always say, but I get it every single time. So there we go. That would be good. I like that one. That's not bad. So yeah. All righty. Phil says, Dinesh D'Souza knows about the abuse of campaign finance laws. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I literally get fined every time I run. Every time. It's just punishment. Campaign finance laws are just punishment. That's it. Nothing else. So, yes. Let's see here. I love you guys going back. This is such a great chat. You guys go back and forth all the time. Yes. Braun is with me. He says, 100% spot on, Larry. All governments have never wanted to fix anything. They want to profit and divide us through problems and partnership. True. I wish that was wrong. Yes. Mad Nomad's on board too. I fully understand that people in power don't care. That's why all this division and people blind to who actually runs the country. It's so frustrating. Nothing will change without major changes. Agreed. Yes. We have to work on this. Yes. So we'll see if that works. All righty. Hold on. Grab some more of these. I love you guys going back and forth. So half of these aren't even to me, which is the best part. Yes. Gene says executive orders are supposed to be for clarification of a current law, not the way the president needs to make a new law. True. What executive orders are supposed to be? What they're supposed to be is a law is enacted, and now the president has to enact that law in some way. The executive order is supposed to explain how to do it. So they pass a law saying everybody has to wear a purple hat on Tuesday. Okay, that's the law. And the president goes, damn, how am I going to enforce that? Okay. So the president then says, okay, here's how we're going to enforce that. The executive order is we're going to send the cops out at midnight on Monday night and see anyone on the street who's wearing a hat, who's out in the street, has to be wearing a hat. And if they're not, we're going to fine them $20, whatever. That's what executive order is supposed to be about. How to enact the law, the details, right? Who will be in charge? What day will it be done? The things how will it be enacted? That's what it's supposed to be. You're right. But we made them as, now it's a law. Totally changed. Yes, totally changed. So it's not supposed to be that way. Yeah. All righty. James says, I like the massive downsizing for General Service Administration, EPA, Department of Education, Commerce, Law, and State. This part is what I was saying. This is why I think Trump is not that concerned about this, because he's using it to actually cut the government. Now, I am worried about this. Why? Do I want government cut? Obviously, I want government cut. There's always a however for me. And the example I'll give is some hardcore libertarians say we should shut all our bases down tomorrow, bring all the troops home, and discharge them and put them back into the civilian workforce, right? That's a libertarian concept. That is a freaking terrible idea. Why? Because if you took the give or take 500,000 men and women to take out and put in right from overseas, bring them over and put them down, give or take in that area, 250,000, 500,000 in that area, and put them into an economy that can't absorb them and discharge them, even though they still had contracts. So they were planning on staying in the military in the 2, 3, or 4 years, and now they're all of a sudden on their own. You can put those people into a system that can't absorb them. It's not ready for them at all, and they're not ready to be absorbed. You're asking for problems. You're asking for nothing but problems. You're asking for suicide. You're asking for homelessness. You're begging for it. Terrible idea. Now, conceptually, do I want that? Yes, conceptually, I want more people in civilian population working. Conceptually, I love the idea, but I can't just doing that's dumb. My worry about downsizing the government, the 100,000 people he's going to get rid of, my worry about that is our economy is not good when it comes to jobs. There are layoffs everywhere. People are having trouble finding jobs everywhere. Take 100,000 people and put them into an employment environment right now, the way it is, you're begging for people to start getting upset. You're begging people to start walking away. I can see this happening to where we have massive underemployment. And if we can't turn this around, not going to go well for Republicans next year. So again, do I want government to be shut down? I do. Do I want government to be lessened? I do. But I don't want the people to suffer, right? Unhappy, suffering people beg for authoritarianism. That's how that works. They want authoritarian. They beg for it. Please give me somebody who will fix this. My idea of that hand coming out, they don't care if that hand has a special kind of armband with a red armband with a white circle and a black symbol in it. They don't care if it has that. They're totally fine with that. They want that hand. Or if it's got a sickle and a hammer, it's fine. They'll take that hand. They don't care. They want that hand. That's my worry. So I think you're right, but my worry is that will hammer it. That's the issue. So, yeah. All righty. Fahim says, I love how they can shut down the government, but still take taxes from my hard-earned dollars. I know. Shut that one down. Why don't they get rid of IRS? How about that one? I like that idea. Let's do that. Yeah. Liberdeath says, I knew well-groomed soldiers who were far from discipline. It's a dumb reg, neck tattoos, out of shape, as discipline issue. A man with a beard? No. Yeah, no, the concept of the beard is this isn't necessarily logical for the thing itself. It's the concept of being well-groomed, of following regulations. That's the concept. A lot of regulations are dumb, right? Why does at least it used to be when I was in, your chevron had to be exactly half an inch here or an inch there, whatever it is. It's just, it's arbitrary. But that's the point. You follow it because you don't have to understand it. You don't need to understand the rule to follow it. You want them, not every Marine's going to get why they need to shave. And for those who don't know, the reason for shaving in the past has been because of gas masks, right? You can't have a solid fit on your gas mask if you have a beard. People don't know that. That's the reason why they were so strict on it during the Cold War. Cold War, you had to get a very special shaving chip where you couldn't shave because everyone was worried about the Soviets and we're going to have gas wars and stuff like that. So that was a big deal. Since gas attacks have not been a thing and that most people have been fighting, we've been very lenient on that because of that. So maybe he's worried about the Soviets or the Chinese using gas again, perhaps. So yes. Larry, I thought for sure the jokes about the generals and Ozempic would be flying around by now, but I haven't heard one yet. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Yes. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Phil says government is good at coming up with failed solutions to problems they created. Yes, absolutely true. That's accurate. Yes. Shredan over on Rumble says lower veteran suicides by creating less veterans. Also true. Also true. We don't need as many. I agree. Yes, I like that one. There we go. All right. Joel says, I haven't heard any Democrats explain the issue that way. I think you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Often true. Yeah. But if you talk to the left, you'll hear what they mean. A lot of people who are on the left or the right assume the other is a bad guy or evil or something like that. And remember, the leadership, that's true. True. Of the average Democrat or person who leans left, or the average righty or average conservative, most of them are not mean at all. Most of them aren't bad at all. Most of them just think their way is the right way to make things better. Most of them do. So why would I be mad? Well, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I want to give every American the benefit of the doubt who's not in leadership because they just want to make things better. So yeah. So, all right. Hope that makes sense at least. Fran says, autoimmune disease sufferer here. Lack of sleep is my personal Achilles heel. Sleep, fire, sleep. I know it's my problem. One of my biggest issues has been a long time. I don't like sleeping. I know it sounds weird. Some people love sleeping. They love sleeping. I don't like sleeping. It's going to sound crazy, but to me, it is a waste of time. I know some of you are like, what? It's how I feel. So I never want to go to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep because I want to keep working. I want to keep learning. I want to keep doing. I want to keep doing things. So I don't want to go to sleep, but I need to. So it's been my challenge. I don't have a problem sleeping. When I lay down, I'm out. I learned to sleep in the back of a truck being a Marine. So I can sleep anywhere. I don't have a circadian rhythm problem. Like I don't like need to sleep at night. I can sleep in a day. I can nap. I could lay down right now and take an hour nap, right? I don't have a problem sleeping. And when I sleep solid. I sleep directly through the night, right? I don't wake up during the middle of the night. I sleep very well. I don't go to sleep. The problem's up here in me doing it, Fran. I need to just go do it. Liberty Lady says, I bug lie about sleep. She does. She's not making that up. She does. Yeah. So I need to just go to sleep. And I often don't. And I need to. So, yes. DJ Nitro Blue says, AOC has a room temperature IQ who was damaging 1.6 billion in pork spending. Oh, demanding. Why would anyone vote for her dumbass? Well, there's several reasons. One, in New York City, where she runs, my district, it's 6-1 Democrat Republican. Most people here have been told that Republicans are evil for at least 2 decades. So why would you vote for an evil Republican? Because they're clearly evil, because I've been told that for 2 decades. So I'm going to vote for a Democrat. She's the most popular Democrat. She wins. It's that simple. Now he's saying, why would people vote for her across the state? The state's 3-1 Democrat Republican, and they've been told Republicans are evil. And a Republican has not won a statewide election in New York State in 23 years now. 23 years, no Republican has won any statewide election, meaning senator, governor, AG, nothing statewide. Locally, Republicans win in New York State. But across the state, 23 years, no victories. And they're not going to. That's why. Whoever wins the Democratic primary wins the election. That's the reason. I wish this was not true. I don't like this because where I live, I have no say in my government. I'm not joking. I have no say in my government at all. City level, state level, federal level. Democrats always win. And when I say always, I mean always. Not just that. Not only do the Democrats always win, but we don't have open primaries in New York. I'm not sure where you are, DJ, but we don't have open primaries in New York. So I can't vote in the primaries. So I'm not a Democrat. So I don't get to vote in the primaries. So I cannot vote for anybody. My vote does not count. It's irrelevant. So I just have to hope that I get a good person, which I never do, but I have to hope. So, and to be even forward, all three at the city, state, and federal level, all three of my reps are members of the DSA. Yes. My city councilman is Tiffany Caban. She's a DSA member. My assemblyman, yes, is Mamdani, member of DSA. My congressman is AOC. Yes, DSA member. So yes, I live in the belly of the beast, my friend. And voting, no one's run against Mamdani's seat. No Republicans run against him in 12 years. I mean, his seat, right? Other people before him were Democrats, but they don't run. Mamdani wins 99-1. 1% write-ins. This is the candidate. Republicans haven't run a candidate in that seat in 11 years. They don't even run a candidate. Don't bother. Why bother? You can't win. It's impossible. That's why they vote for her. I hope I answered your question at least. I know that sucked. You probably didn't like hearing that. Just saying. James says, Trump bailed Malaya. He did. Apparently the reason the U.S. wanted to send money to Argentina was he had the right values, whatever that means. I'm not mad at that one. There's a lot of bailouts. If you're going to bail someone out, this is my time to be a hypocrite. If you bailing people out, you bail my boy out. Just fine. You can bail my boy out. You can bail my boy out. It's fine. That this is my time. I'll be hypocrite for this one. Call me that. It's fine. So, all right. Let's see here. Let me walk down this road. You do bug me about my sleep. It's true. That's true. That one. All right. And yeah. That's when I says, oh, Sharpe McCare. Okay. We could try that. We'll try that. Okay. All right. Let me walk down here. So many of these. All right. Andrea says, hit that like button unless you like propaganda. True. Yes. Look, I know some of you guys are mad at Democrats. I get it. Let me show you someplace where you can get some information on what Democrats are actually telling you about the lockdown and what's real and what's not. You knew it was civil. I know you did. It's civil. Yes, it is. You knew I was going to tell you about civil. Every single show, I show you something cool about civil. CIVL.com is where you go. Join on civil. When you join, put in the code Larry. It's 50% off for the year. That means $25 for the year, not $25 per month. No, $25 the entire year. You always get something cool. Every show I'll tell you something cool on civil. Is another good piece for you that we're talking about. This is just from a couple of days, like 3 days ago. And this is right now the Reason Roundtable talking about Democrats and the shutdown.
The government is shut down, and the Reason Roundtable is live on YouTube today.
See that?
Will this shutdown make a dent in federal spending? Are mass firings of federal workers on the way?
He's saying no, and they're saying no, but I'm not sure. I think it might. I think there's a chance that the Trump will actually get rid of a bunch of people and not bring them back. Now, that could be good and bad, as I mentioned earlier, but I think it could. But here's a real conversation about it.
Or is this just a political stunt by Democrats so they can say they're doing something, anything at all, to oppose President Donald Trump?
And I think that's a critical piece, as I mentioned. Democrats need to feel like they're fighting. This is a way to look like they're fighting. My view, the wrong hill to die on, as I mentioned earlier. I think there are other hills they could have died on. I think this is the wrong one, in my view, to die on. But I get it. This is one of them doing it. It's more for show, I think. These guys have a nice conversation about it. Chat back and forth. Do you want to have real conversations back and forth? You find these types of things on Civil. CIVL.com. The code to join is Larry. Larry, which is the coolest, by the way, the absolute coolest name on the internet. It's true. It is. Do that. Join up. Watch things like this and others. Enjoy. And the most important piece I keep telling you, once you do it, share it. Let people know you can go to Civil to have real conversations without the evil left, right, back and forth attack, without the conflict machine. You can upgrade civilization by going to Civil. CIVL.com. Code is Larry. Check in. Every single time I do a show, I show you something cool, and it's always topical every single time, and it's often before you even think. Civil.com. Check it out. $25 per year. Thank you for the support, guys. I appreciate it. All right, let me grab a couple more of these if I could. All righty, Masterman Hour says, it's starting to look like Medicare for all would have been a bargain. You know, this is my point, Masterman, I bring up. If you're going to do it, just do it. Just do it, right? I hate the let's do something terrible and mess things up, and it's what we keep doing, and it drives me crazy. And look, either solve the problem one way or solve the other, but we don't, right? We don't. And the advantage of doing Medicare for all, which, again, I'm obviously not for, but doesn't matter. The advantage of doing it would be we figured out if it would work or not. Now, we've tried it before. We tried it in like Vermont and stuff, and it failed. It's fine. Then we at least try it. We know it. That's the issue. I don't mind. We'll figure it out. So, all right. I'm looking at the poll on YouTube. Will or is the 11th federal government shutdown just a political game for votes? 49%. Good excuse to shrink government? 28%. No impact on my life? 23%. Hurts my personal finances? 0%. Didn't see that one coming. No one thinks hurt your personal finances. I like that. I hope that's true. I don't think that's true, but I hope that's true. That'd be amazing. I hope that is true. I hope it doesn't. I have a feeling it's going to make everything worse. That is my gut. Everything worse is my gut. That's what I think, but I guess we'll find out the hard way. All right, so let me keep going down here. Literally says, well, ACA made me not be able to afford insurance. I'm not super poor, and it's the middle class that actually will be paying for the subsidies because wealthy people don't even use insurance. Yes, good point. This is my point. Most people who are more on the entrepreneurial side were punished by the ACA. Most were, but not all. Yeah, I agree. So, all righty. Let me grab some more of this if I can. Francis, I think fewer people believe the fear mongering with government shutdowns impact them financially because many are already hurting. To be honest, this can is kicked how many times a year? This is a very valid point, friend. The point I see about this is there are a lot of people who believe that they're already in trouble. A lot of people are absolutely being hammered here. You're seeing layoffs everywhere. You're seeing people afraid of losing their jobs. You're seeing people not being able to get jobs. Gen Z is being just slaughtered. I mean, wow. People don't want to. There's article upon article, issue upon issue. So many things coming up, video upon video, poll upon poll, showing how nobody wants to hire Gen Z. It is terrible. This is a problem for them. It's an entire, and people, well, they'll come around. They'll come around. I don't know. This is why you find things that say entry level, 5 years experience. This is everywhere. Why? Entry level, 5 years experience. Yeah, it's to keep Gen Z out. Because again, because this is how it always works. Why so many employment laws are insanely stupid. The employment laws are supposed to help the employees. I get it. They don't. What they do is they make the small businesses unable to hire people. That's what actually happens. So they have to find ways around it to get around the laws. So if you don't hire someone, they sue you. And the problem is, most people don't know this. In employment law in New York State, and I think California too, the assumption is guilt. I'm not joking. So if I say, hey, Fran, I went there and you didn't hire me, and I say it's because my name's Larry and you hate people named Larry because you're a Larryist, and I say that, the assumption is you are a Larryist. You have to show me you're not. So there has to be some documentation saying, no, I didn't hire Larry because I hate people named Larry. I didn't hire Larry because he didn't have the experience or I found a better candidate or whatever. This is why you also understand when people get upset when they get fired or not hired, that the companies never tell them why. Because if they do, they get sued. The problem with that, of course, is in the theory, you're helping the people out. You're not. You're making sure a person never learns. I would love to tell you, I didn't hire you because this. But if I tell you that, you'll sue me and win. So I can't tell you. So you're doing something dumb every single time. And no one will tell you what you're doing because you'll sue them and win. And they know that. So they can't tell you. The laws, again, government getting involved makes things worse. Will Larry be able to protect employees? From what? They're being hammered now. This dystopian world that these people come up with in their heads is today. End these stupid laws and regulations. Let people go back and forth voluntarily, and it's every single time it evens itself out. But Larry, there was the era of robber barons. And for those who don't know what actually happened at that point, that was true. And then unions came up. People got together. And what happened with robber barons? They used the government to crush the unions. That's true. They brought in the army to crush unions. If the government didn't get involved, unions and big companies would have been able together to work out like the market always works out every single freaking time. But the government got involved, literally sending the army in to shoot and harm union workers. I'm not making that up. Do your own homework. Forcing the unions to become violent, forcing the government, the other company to become violent, and the government backed off. They started backing unions. The government getting involved is what made it horrible. If they just would have let it walk away, they would have easily worked it out on their own. Somehow, in so many other countries of the world, they have a union situation to where they don't have union monopolies. They don't have governments involved in unions. So the entire world. Why? Because the government never got involved. Sorry. You got me going. Whew. Okay, let me keep moving. All righty. Anyway, Phil says the Second Amendment says I have the right to a machine gun. What it says is you have the right to bear arms. So yeah, that's true. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. I'll grab a couple more of these. All righty. Shelly says, my friend has a tank. people hire them to take down small buildings. Tanks are also legal. You can own a tank. It's true. You can. Yes. As I said earlier, there was a time when people owned battleships. That was a real thing. So yes. All righty. Joel says, I saw a list of states where you can own a tank with a working turret and gun. New York was not one of those on the list. Yeah, you can't. Not all of them can you have the actual artillery piece right inside the actual gun. Not all can you. Some you can, some you can't. But yeah, used to be able to own cannon too. That was the thing. You own cannon. Yes, of course. All righty. Bronna says, I just suddenly remembered how I initially found out about you, Larry. I saw you having a discussion with Larkin Rose. Even in some disagreement, I was intrigued by your comments. Yeah, I like Larkin. That's why I had him on. I think his movie was good. I like him. Larkin's far more of an anarchist than I am. But in my heart, I say it all the time, in my heart, I am too, right? I would love to have a completely voluntary society. I would love that. I just recognize that we're so far away from that. I mean, so far, and moving the opposite way, so far moving the opposite way that to make drastic changes would actually bring us more towards authoritarianism. People would just beg for it. So yes. Phil over there, Rum, appreciate that. The dollar. I'm going to light a candle for every day the government shut down and see how long the oil will last. Hopefully it's more than 8 crazy nights. The Washington Monument effect is cruel. Nice. It'll be a new Hanukkah. I like that. It'll be that. I love that. That's great. So, all righty. I'm gonna grab some more of these. Okay. Mike says it's caused the chat love to try to tell me why they feel I'm wrong. 99% of the time I'm not. There we go there. I like that. Cute. That's cute. I like that. So yeah, we do go back and forth. Yes. Yes. Massimo now gives you a nice one, Mike. He says, I could definitely consider you an above average Republican. There we go. See, you're above average, Mike. You didn't know that. Actually, Mike did know that. Yes. Mad Nomad says, Larry, I think my point was lost in my poor sentence construction. Nothing will ever really change until the powers to be, i.e., elite big corp owners, are removed. I'm not sure that's true. And hear me out before you come at me on it. You might come at me, but hear me out before. I don't think it's the big elite corporate owners that are the actual problem. I don't. And the reason why I say it is the corporate owners already have power. They already have money. What they're more worried about is retaining power and not getting removed by either government or by some competitor, right? That's what they're concerned about, those two things. So government comes in and then creates monopolies or supports them. It's the big government, I think, that is a bigger issue. Why? When you just have big corporate owners, the most common thing that happens is monopolies on their own, unless backed by government force, tend to not last. They happen and they work, but they tend to not last. Why? Because eventually people get tired of it. So the individuals either help others move forward, the workers rebel. That's what tends to happen. But when government gets involved, that changes. I think the problem actually is government far more than big corporate. Now, I'm not a big corporation guy, clearly. Clearly, I'm not. I support local businesses constantly. I think entrepreneurs are the answer. But my answer isn't creating or knocking down Goliaths or creating more Goliaths. My answer is creating more and more Davids. I want thousands of Davids, because with that many Davids, we're always knocking down Goliaths. The sad part is government's another Goliath. So we wound up having 2 Goliaths working together. And then no Davids can even exist. So if it's a big anything, I'm more worried about big government than I am big corporations. What is my evidence of that? Look at when Trump, who has been one of the most, what's the word let's say for? Non-traditional presidents in a while. How about that? Is that a good way of saying it? All the big elite corporate owners all bent the knee to him. They're not the problem. Government is, right? Government backs him. Government backs them. Government makes it work. Government's the problem. If they don't have the power to defend these groups, then they're fighting their own. And they'll fight each other too. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Renee Radar says the shut doesn't negatively affect Fed employees. It's like having a federal holiday. Yes, they get back pay when the budget's settled. Out here in Bendelin National Monument, Vales, Caldera, etc., is closed. Yes, however, they're getting rid of people, actually. They're literally getting rid of people. Yes. So those people won't be able to. They literally, those people won't be able to. Those people will not come back. But yes, people will just get off. They hang out and get paid later. Very true. Yes. All right. I know some of these I want to do here. All righty. Masterman House says, Larry, if you ever decide to carpet back to Colorado, you'll have my vote. Hell, even door knock for you. Thank you. Yes. Mad Nomad says, I get what you're saying about big corporate owners, but they will always find ways to control any size government. Yes, but if the government doesn't have as much control, it won't matter. If the government's goal was one thing, and the government should only be one thing, to monitor, in this case, monitor monopolies. If one does get too powerful, the government should be there to break it up. The problem is the government's there to regulate. When the government regulates, there's regulation capture constantly, right? That's the issue, right? What people think is, people particularly who are left-leaning go, the government's got to do X, Y, and Z. The government's got to make regulations. The government's got to do this. Who writes the regulations? Government doesn't do that. Congressmen don't even write laws. I'm not making this up. Congressmen don't write laws. They don't have policy teams. That's not a thing. Only people like Thomas Massey actually write laws. Nobody else does. They don't write laws. They don't have policy teams. They get their laws from lobbyists. Lobbyists are being bought and paid for by big corporate owners. So the big corporate owners are the ones writing the laws and the regulations. But if the goal of government isn't to regulate, the goal of government is instead to just break up monopolies, then there are no regulatory issues. What happens is now the industries themselves regulate themselves, which as long as there is no fraud, right? Anything illegal, of course, gets punished by the government. If it's illegal, right, meaning it's actually a crime, they begin to regulate themselves. Well, how could that work? It's called health food stores. I see it everywhere, constantly. Your Underwriters Laboratory. There's tons of examples of it. The Orthodox Union, the people who do the kosher food, it's everywhere. You can see it. You expand that instead. Smaller companies can grow and big, and they do. You see health food stores grow out of nowhere. It does happen in those worlds. It can happen. So if you make the government weaker so it can't do that, you will support those people who are smaller. Libertad says it, big government enables big corporations. 100% true. 100% true. Yes. Yes. So Bronna says, I think the reason why I like you so much, Larry, is because I believe at your core you are an anarchist/voluntarist. We just see a different path towards that. True. Accurate. That's true. Yes. I think that's true. Yes. So, all righty. I think I grabbed all those. He's on. Good. All right. Grabbed a bunch of them. I couldn't get all of them, but I tried to get so many that I could. So many. Yes. Yeah. Lee says nobody is hiring baby boomers. Also true. You are finding that there are two, you're right, Lee, there are two horrible things that are happening right now, which is utterly unfair, but still true. There's age discrimination on both sides. And this is the sad part. If you are over 50 and you have been at your job for 20 years or more and you lose your job, the odds are you will never have a full-time job again. And that sounds horrible to say, but it's true. That's the odds. You might. I'm just saying the odds are against you. You are fighting an uphill battle to have a full-time job if you are over 50 and we're in the same company for 20 years. They wanted you to be doing 5 years on, 5 years off, that kind of thing. That's what they wanted. But you did 20 years because you were loyal to your company and you did the right thing and you were a good employee and they got rid of you and you are in trouble. The odds are against you. So if you're over 50 and you've been in the same company 20 years, the odds of you having a full-time job again are slim to none. They do happen. It's not good. And if you're under like 25, nobody wants to hire you because they assume you're going to be on your phone all day and you don't want to work. And yeah, the age discrimination is terrible. And this is my point, Lee. They can't say that because they get sued. So they come up with other reasons. Well, it's because I had 3 people named Lee and I was confused. So I hired the other Lee guy or whatever, right? They find the reason to say it. They can't tell you. You're absolutely correct. It is a problem. It absolutely is a problem. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Liberty says time for Lau to go to sleep. Okay. True. All right. See, they're already on my ass already. And it's Saturday night. And they're on my ass already. So yes, they are. It's true. Guys, remember, after the show, please do me a favor. Come on back. Put a comment. It does matter. Every comment does matter. Afterwards does matter. It helps Mr. Rhythm, Algo, Rhythm, that guy. Very important. So please do me a favor. Put a comment on right afterwards. Doesn't matter where you're watching it. Come on back and put a comment. It does matter. I'm asking you, if you would, tell me what you think will be the outcome of the lockdown. Any change? No change? Big change? Will the lockdown, the shutdown, sorry, not lockdown, shutdown, the shutdown. Will there be a big change? No change? Same old thing? You're gonna fire a bunch of people? What's going to happen with the shutdown and coming up here in the next couple of weeks, couple of months? What's going to happen? What's the outcome? What do you think? Please let me know. If you would, remember, if this is not live, you can see 2 videos pop up. If it's not live, please do that. Check out one of those videos. Watch for like 8 minutes or so. Algo loves that too. I'll be back on Monday. I will see you all very soon.